sale.
No, they're done on demand. They're like almost like iron-ons. I should have thought, and I'll just start streaming now.
Then you should do a create your own.
You can do a create your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is your
Is my video still on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I can go to other screens and not worry about it. Awesome. Oh, we're live.
Yeah, you're live. At least on on YouTube. Facebook's not showing up for some reason. Oh, that's probably because I didn't put a thing in.
I'm looking forward to Ken's thing, though. I hope we can do that soon.
Yeah.
We can do without Ken. You want to do without Ken?
Let's do Ken's theory without Ken.
Let's talk about what his theory was. And then we can kind of,
We'll just interject Ken's theory. We'll make up one for him.
I have no idea what his theory is.
Let's do
Other than it was Montreal.
Let's do St.
It's
Louis.
not verse 8, it's not verse 5, it's verse 3.
I think you should just change it up. It's verse 1, and it's in St. Louis.
No, the reason why 5 and 8 don't work perfectly either is because actually just Boston is supposed to be used twice, and there is no separate Montreal.
Maybe it's supposed to be used for all of them, not just once.
I still remember the old theories where you have to take because the last lines never make sense in any of the verses. They're just poetic or whatever. But the people who were like, no, you take the last lines from each of the verses, and that makes the 13th verse.
Take one line that doesn't make sense.
It's a 12-line verse.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, no, you take the first from the first poem, the second from the second one.
Don't give people ideas, especially
and you
creative.
Make one a knuckle sandwich.
Good ideas.
So this brings up another question for discussion. So verse 5 and verse 8 are the flippity floppity who no one really knows, and there's been a lot of discussion, I guess, on Facebook and Discord. So has John ever said yes, verse 5 and verse 8, or does he know that there's a little bit of a controversy for that one?
I don't think he knows there's a controversy. Because I mean, if we're being honest, the controversy isn't taken very seriously by most people. I don't think.
No, I think quite a few people have, some valid reasons for.
Yeah, but I think it's
why they think one works and why the other doesn't, why vice versa.
I think that
there's definite salient points for both.
I would agree with that.
If you're going to be honest,
I think the group that switches is small. It's just I don't know. I don't think he knows. I mean, I think the group that switches the Montreal verse with Milwaukee is the same size as the group that switches the Montreal verse with Charleston, because there's people who work on Charleston with the Montreal verse. I mean, shit, there was a newspaper article written about it.
I mean, that's really the only one that can truly look at and say, yeah, there's some really good evidence for this.
I mean,
verse 8.
There's a couple of things
from Montreal.
But no, to answer your question, he's never said anything about the verses. And he's never, I don't think he knows there's a controversy. So, I don't know if he, I mean...
Let's get him on the horn. You
want to just call him real quick?
We should call him up now.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know if he knows the verses. Sometimes he says he doesn't, but then sometimes he says stuff that implies that he does. So, who knows?
It still bugs me numbering them. I just can't get over that. I don't like numbering the paintings or the verses.
Yeah.
It really bothers me.
Are you saying just to refer to them as, verse 8 and verse 5?
Well, it's harder with the verses, right? Because the paintings, it's easier to call them by the gem or call them by the month, or the city. But the verses, just because they're not numbered in the book,
well, how else would we label
small, but it bothers me.
Yeah. How else would you refer to them?
Just because it implies something that who knows what sort of creative structure they're placed in for that reason.
I mean, I still think
I get it.
I still think the easiest way to organize.
I get it.
is
I
West
didn't
City.
say I have a better way for the verses. It still bugs me a little bit.
Yeah.
That's always bugged me too, because I'd have to like go back and open a book and visualize or think about, was that 8 or 5? Or what's that? It's so much easier with the images because you just think about the clocks or,
Yeah.
the
I don't
month.
know. I even I don't know which verse is which number sometimes. Like just spinning it off. That's why I'm always like the St. Augustine verse because I don't want to screw up. I don't know though. It's an interesting question. Like if you weren't going to number them, how else would you organize? I don't know that they have anything in common enough. Like the painting where it has times, gems, yada yada yada. I don't think they have anything in common enough.
So you could talk like the Colosseum being mentioned, being Italian, or the Greeks being mentioned. Is there any other verse term that would hint to country
I mean,
aside from those two?
Phoenix and Chris, and they had that thing with months. That was pretty good. I mean, some of it was kind of stretchy, but some of it was really good.
Why?
Huh?
Yeah.
Graydon is laggy.
But only a few, I would say, Rob. Yeah, I'm having problems here with signal.
That's all right.
Big hand signs.
Yeah. Do you know ASL?
No, letters. That's
Translate from Canadian.
I just go to French for you if you want.
Oh,
We do need somebody that speaks French. I don't know why, but we need somebody that speaks French. There was like,
I can speak French.
You can speak French?
Yeah.
Because there was like a discourse I was having with Gerald Gay, and I was looking for somebody that spoke French.
I can speak French, and I live in an igloo, like all good Canadians, George.
I really, really want to buy the fake San Francisco Cats. So we should write Gerald Gay an email.
Okay.
Graydon, are you a Winnipeg fan?
Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so is
How'd you feel
George.
Where's my hat?
How did you feel about your goalie making all those saves for the Team USA?
There we go. There we go. Hand delivered from Manitoba, that one. I was happy for him because he's never won anything big wise, team wise, but I was heartbroken for. I was hoping we would win like in overtime in a 0-0 game, so he would play incredible and Canada would still win.
Wasn't the goalie for Canada an American? No, not an American, but he played for one of the.
Yeah, he plays for an American team.
teams. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays in St. Louis. In St. Louis, actually.
Oh, St. Louis. Yeah.
So wait, the goalie from the Olympic team was from the Jets?
Yeah. And last year he won not just the goalie award, but the league MVP award. And the year before he won the goalie award. So.
And this year he won like the Medal of Honor or whatever.
All right, now we're talking sports.
I don't know anything about sports.
Sorry for that sidebar. I don't have a Winnipeg hat or any hockey hats.
All I know is I'm told they played well.
Mm.
And the women's team played well too, right?
Since we were going to talk Montreal tonight, Graydon, do you have Montreal? Is that your home puzzle? City?
No, just because it's actually further away from me than a couple others. Milwaukee is the closest, yeah.
Oh.
But I don't really have a home puzzle. I've never been really into working one specifically. I've always worked all of them congruently. So I've never.
Some people have.
I'll deep dive into one for a while, but I've never like stuck to one specific. specifically.
You get distracted,
Mm,
go off on tangents like I do. Like somebody posts something and then you're like, "Oh, I got to research that. Oh, I got to figure that out."
I've always just been more interested in the hunt than obsessed with digging one up. Like I had a choice between me digging one up and two other people digging two up, I would rather two other people dig two up.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think
what
I've
if-
been more focused on
What if it was done in a
the-
ball field by a construction company?
I will take any information
Take
at this
anything,
point,
all
George. I don't
that was
even
dug up.
care.
That was dug up by 15 people.
Yeah, anything at all.
I've been kind of focusing a little bit more on the paintings and like some of the symbolism that I think is coming through. It seems in the recent past that I haven't really focused on before.
Yeah,
Kind of
My-
takes different look at things
I think a lot of people have.
instead of looking at just specific clues, more like an overall type of theme.
I think a lot of people have with all the JJP stuff lately. I just worry that none of that will actually help. Like that all the stuff to pull the cask out of the ground is in the verse, and we'll never know. But
Well, I don't know. I think Chicago definitely was a pretty image heavy with, I think, a lot of the symbolisms there.
In Chicago and Cleveland were, but Boston really wasn't. So, I don't know.
I think like with the stuff we know about the Boston paintings, if the others are like that, I would never figure it out. Like I still almost don't even believe John on some of the stuff that he says about it. I don't think he's lying, but like if the witch's hair is supposed to represent a ball diamond to me, then I can find a ball diamond shape in 4 places in every one of those 12 paintings.
I don't know. With artists though, it's weird. Like it doesn't have to be a clue that you would recognize. You could just be like, oh well, this is what I was envisioning when I was doing this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, take for like look at Montreal.
Yeah, let's do it. Go for it. Love this.
Yeah, so like everybody takes a look at the head hat or whatever as being the shape of Montreal, right? The island of Montreal.
Like the mouth area.
The actual hat is that he's wearing.
Oh, I thought most people think the mouth kind of crease area with the
I also thought it was the mouth.
between the lips is like the river.
So I look at it as a kind of like a 2-dimensional map and then a 3-dimensional map in the same respect. So where you've got this grid of checkerboards going this way, kind of like you're looking down 2D at a map, and you've got the golden square mile in that position of where it is on the map. And then you've got the flower, maybe that's where the isn't there like a cultural garden, or not a botanical garden or something that's on the south side of Montreal. But anyway, there, and then you've got these steps that are going up on the collar as you're mounting up the mount. And then you got his head, which is, to me, it seems like that is Mount Royal. It's this thing that's going up and above.
Some people say the hat
city.
is royal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest, is that the hat is Mount Royal, and the fact that you've got the opal right at the very top in the center, above the city, looking out down below the city.
So you think
So
it's
people
up
that have
Well,
no, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, as far as looking at an imagery and looking at what potentially could be 2D and 3D representation, or topographical representation of what Montreal is. It's a big mountain above a city on the river. So,
I have a question. Do you all think that the ones that are supposed to be harder to solve are going to be solved more based on the verses and less on the paintings?
yeah, I feel like that's what John told us.
Yeah.
It's like there's less painting involvement because they were running out of time. And I also think that maybe that's part of why John thinks they're harder.
Because he doesn't know.
Because they're verse heavy.
He doesn't know, and he wasn't able to put as much in those paintings to help us with them.
Yeah. People absolutely don't spend enough time on these verses. They go overboard with the paintings. But like it's always been weird to me. John's always said he didn't know where these are buried. Byron's always said that he was the only one that knew where these are buried. But people focus so much on these images, as if John knew, down to the foot where these things were and put it in each of the paintings. But then they disagree with other stuff John says. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, you've got those image icons or the things that are easily recognizable as landmarks, whether they're major city landmarks, things that you're supposed to take a macro look at and to say, okay, this is the city we're in, Statue of Liberty and the obvious ones. So if you did like a top 10 of Montreal of what those landmarks, you'd have Mount Royal, you'd have the Golden Square Mile, but you wouldn't have a leggy. That's not a landmark. So you have to figure that is got to be a micro clue. So if and this is what's perplexing for me, because if you're thinking it's way up on the hill, is that part of the start to start down at San Stephen, and then walk your way up Drummond and all the way up to the top of to the chalet. Long fucking hike, arduous.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that there might still be like verse clues. Like if you think about, like if you're able to find a location match between the painting and a verse line, things like, it still blows my mind that like Harpy was able to find granite walls on the same block as the Leg Eater and was able to figure out Stanford Court on the same block as the Rose Stem. Now, whatever you think about where San Francisco is or where Montreal is, regardless, those are pretty insane finds. So like maybe there are verse lines that pair in an exact place to things in the image that we haven't found yet. Like New York, how far would that go when we don't even know a borough for sure?
Yeah.
If suddenly someone found like a photo of some sign that perfectly fit a verse clue that was right next to something from the image, like that would change everything for New York. We could start narrowing down. Maybe it exists.
If only there were such a thing.
Well, yeah, people will say otherwise, but maybe there's a new one. Maybe there's a new one we haven't found yet.
I mean, I can't think of any of these that have been huge things. Like I think about Chicago, right? Chicago works that way throughout almost the entirety of the verse. Every verse line's got something represented in the image, right? MMB's got the fountain behind them. Our Congress has got the Bowman. Sitting Lincoln doesn't have anything. Then you get to the end of 10 by 13 and it's got the fence post, arguably the fixture. So it works that way the whole way. Boston doesn't seem to work that way. Cleveland is too short to work that. It's too small of an area to work that way. But San Francisco.
But it has absolute definite visuals.
Oh yeah, 100%. But the verse is too short to have like. I mean, it exists in like a 200
small space.
Yeah, it's like a half of a football field. You can't really.
There's
not
no
really
micro. It's all micro. It's not macro clues.
Yeah. But San Francisco has elements that work that way. Arguably, St. Augustine does, or Montreal does.
Yeah, I feel like St. Augustine works micro as well. And micro, I mean by like half a mile.
But you keep in mind, like in terms of confirmation, we can say those things about Chicago now because we know, but there's no way to actually confirm how the verse line and the images in that all necessarily match or work. Like we still don't even
Did you?
know how to initially connect that verse to that image. And
No.
there are other things in the image that don't have verse line matches. So is it methodical, or is it just a coincidence because Byron was in those places and wrote about things that he saw and took pictures of things and sent them to John to include?
Well, I think that would be an easy way for Byron to take those pictures. Like he gets to a point where he's got to write down, jogs down a note, and takes a picture of something nearby. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially the cities that we know that have longitude coordinates. That's the ultimate macro clue that you can give. And the ones that don't have those, like Milwaukee, were given a rebus of the actual name of the city.
What other lines from verses would work this way? Because like in Milwaukee, you would have pass the compass and reach the foot of the culvert, which is at the bridge with the lion, which John said was in the image. But what other? I don't know of any other.
Oh, you're talking about what other verse lines?
What other
in
verse
Milwaukee?
lines would have, not just in Milwaukee,
Verse
but
8.
anywhere?
What's the question, George?
What other
Verse 8
what
lines.
other verse lines from any
Yeah.
of the puzzles would work that way, where there's a verse line with something else from the image directly?
Well, that's why
right
I
near
made that cast in copper. The locust trail.
Yeah.
There's a verse line and then something in the image,
Yeah, like San,
like the line
like
near the window.
Stanford Court. No, something on site that is in the image, like Stanford Court and the F, or fence and fixture and the fence, or
Site in the image.
you see what I'm saying? Or M and B in the fountain. Yeah,
Something on site in the image.
You're just talking verse 8, though.
no. Any of the
Oh,
any of the pairings.
Houston.
I don't know if I have a
Here's the
spreadsheet on.
spout. The spout's in the image, in the verse.
Yeah, maybe.
It's on site. Um,
I'm trying to think. Let me just go look at some of these.
it's a great question. I like doing these. Verse line referring to an image on site that's in the painting.
I have verse line dig site indicators on my spreadsheet. Those are the lines where I think that.
So feel at home.
Right. But as far as like
Feel at home
connection
refers
to
to something.
connection to image, I don't think I have anything.
Feel at home refers to something in the image and something on site.
Through the wood, no lion fears. No, there's no lion. Never mind.
That's Houston.
Metal walls refers to something on site.
Well, Colosseum was Boston, Italian reference, and then the Greeks would be for Cleveland. We talked about that. I don't know if we were on when that was discussed, but
Seek the columns in the image and on site.
yeah. Let's see if we got any comments.
Walls and
It's not in the
928.
there's nothing really in. It's weird. Charleston's got so many things that are on site, but none that are in the painting.
I have to look at the verses. I can't do this like that.
Yeah, I'm
could-
going through the verses too.
You could argue that the long palm is in the painting, depending on how
Yeah,
you interpret.
But what would it be on site? That's what I mean. Like a
Well,
verse from the line, like a line from a verse that is immediately next to something that's in the painting. In the same way Granite Walls is immediately next to the Leg Eater. Or Stanford Court is immediately next to the Fairmont F. Or and to Congress R is known as immediately next to the Bowman. This is a difficult way of thinking about it because normally when we think about stuff like this, we think what line is represented by something on site, but that's not what I mean. Like what?
Well, Houston is indirectly. So if you consider the spout to be a train spout or the lake spout, and the train tracks are in the image,
It would be 982
yeah, or the mini train.
or the mini train.
If you interpret the verse as stepping over the
Yeah.
small scale as being the small train tracks.
I don't think I can't. There's nothing in St. Augustine that works that way, unless you go with the. Some people say they see the Tinahona as the water, the big clay pots that they capture water in at the Fountain of Youth in the image, and then that would be shell limestone, silver salt. Would be right next to the Tinones.
Like this becomes harder to chase as you get into the later paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
because
Yeah.
there's less.
in them.
So Rob? What was yours for New York? Was it the Shadow of the Grey Giant? Because you said it was gone.
The sign? The sign you're talking about?
No, what did you think? Like a line in the verse that has
Sign
something.
nearby speaks of Indy's native,
So what would that be in the painting?
Fort Hamilton.
But in the painting.
Fort Hamilton's in the painting?
Oh, not in the painting, no. I thought you meant verse line.
I'm probably not explaining what my question is correct.
I know what you're saying. You're saying a visual representation of the verse line in the painting.
No,
Next to.
no, just something in the painting that's next to that verse line. Like granite walls refers to FB walls, which is on site. And then if you turn around from FB walls, you see the leg eater, which is in the painting. So you've got granite walls and the leg eater. Or if you're the easiest is if you're in Chicago, it's where Congress R is known, and a Congress R is known. You're standing at Congress in front of the Roosevelt Hotel or the Congress Hotel, Roosevelt University, and you look behind you and you have the Bowman. The Bowman's not in the verse, but it's
The Bowman's right in front of Congress Hotel.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's physically represented in the painting, and it's directly in front of a verse line. Does that make sense? That's what I was looking for.
When you say in front of a verse line,
Yeah, Congress and Roosevelt. That's a verse line, and a Congress R is known. And then directly, right there is the Bowman.
It's tricky because some of them, the line you could argue is also in the painting.
yeah,
Yeah, you
That'd be
could find a
very
line
specific.
that represents something next to something in the image, but that image might also be represented by a different line in the verse.
Yeah, but I think that's it's less concrete. I mean, it's true. It's what you're saying is true.
No, I mean, like, let's say in St. Augustine, you think that shadow is the picket fence, and that picket fence maybe was right next to the Stars by Day. Well, you could argue that, but green picket fence is also in the verse. So
yeah. I mean, I think you need a one-to-one representation of that to really.
Yeah, you would need an exact.
Otherwise, you're interpreting, and there's just a lot left on the table for that.
there's nothing close enough to see for many verse lines in St. Augustine that you could be at the Castillo, right?
Verse lines?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, other than the bending branches being the Bridge of Lions.
You can't see Magnolia from the Castillo.
I don't know how bending branches would be the Bridge of Lions.
Because it's a drawbridge, and the bascule bridge, each part of the bridge, the one that opens, is actually called a leaf. So they're bending branches.
Okay. Okay.
And you could say their branches is used also in New York.
If the boy on the clock in New Orleans is the McDonough statue, then that's easy
Yeah.
because you can look at any verse line you want there and see it next to that visual confirmation.
If it's the fairy in Storyland, you could do basically the same thing too. You
Yeah.
could look at just about anything there. Any of the lines. But those are just like in Cleveland, like if New Orleans works at that statue or it works at Storyland, that whole verse exists within, you know, a 200 square foot area. It's a small, very small area.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say in terms of thematic things in what the verse is kind of encompassing, or what type of themes are that are being expressed. Like, does Montreal have some kind of religious tones to it? It talks about a citadel, ancient dreams of flight, and arc of light. Kind of get more religious kind of textures to that. And does that image give you that sense of more religious themed? I don't know if that's maybe just a bias towards knowing it's Montreal and there's a heavy religion in the city, or whether it's actually just
I mean, I think
what I'm looking at in the image.
well, I think you're onto something where a lot of people see themes. It's just because of the city. You know, people look at St. Augustine and see themes of beginnings and firsts. This is because it's the first city. It's everywhere. Beginnings are everywhere.
Yeah.
People see religion. People have seen religion in Montreal a lot, but it's, you know, is it the city of 1,000 churches or something? What is it? Like, it's a religious city. So are those themes intentional, or are they just because of where the treasure is buried? The city's chosen.
Yeah. Yeah, like the oratory. Mel is mentioning about pointing to St. Joseph's Oratory on Mount Royal, and Montreal, St. Andre Bessette, beneath the only standing member of a forest. Andre Bessette statue is pointing to a relief sculpture above the door at college directly across the street, where he used to greet people in the lobby of the school. So it's interesting because you mentioned the oratory, and you know, we're talking about like the top 10 landmarks of a city. Mount Royal is one, the oratory, and you know, one of the major churches along with Notre Dame. But the oratory, I think people have said they can see it in the neckline. Kind of makes that shape in the neckline. Well, there's another interesting thing about that I was actually looking at today. It's kind of funny it came up. But if you reverse that and you look at it, there's actually a cross in the crosshair of the you know, there's kind of like a texture in that cloth. It actually makes a cross at the very top of where that cross is on the oratory. It's pretty wild. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I can't find it now. Oh, piss. Am I sharing my screen? Share screen. Yeah, I just got to find it. Here it is. Window. Share. All right, see?
I can't see anything.
George, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. You can't see anything, right? It should be like.
Oh, there
Right, so
it is.
here's the outline of the oratory, right? Right here. There's a cross right here. And that would be how it is on the oratory. Isn't that cool? There's not really any other crosses in here. It's just right there.
We have a picture of the oratory.
I don't think so.
This is a take my word for it moment.
Or maybe we could look it up.
Trust me, bro.
How do we get back to stop sharing? I'm gonna set. There. St. Joseph's Oratory.
So how many of the paintings, George, do you think have a specific one, like something in the image that is an exact representation of something that you can see on site?
I mean, hidden and non-hidden, like the fort.
Sure.
All San Francisco, I would say, has the F.
Yeah. Well, let's go in order. So Roanoke has the island.
Or you're just talking about very exact matches, or something on site?
Yeah, something that's not metaphorical.
Got it.
Something that is literal.
Oh, all of them have something. San Francisco has the F.
See the cross on top?
Houston.
You got it?
Yeah.
Can you see that picture?
I can. So the outline. Okay, because the color is symmetrical, so you think that's to just obscure it?
So it's got the little point at the top there.
Yeah.
And then the cross up top. There's the
I
cross
would
right
say
there.
that's like a 10 on the raw obscurity scale.
Yeah, no, that's like at least a 5.
You made the scale. That's fine.
I don't even think that's the best cross. What you're pointing to, I think the thicker one's a better cross, but it's not straight.
Where?
Well, the biggest, thickest lines right underneath the tip of that will be like a cross, maybe on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, but do you see how I'm not screen sharing anymore? I don't think.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at the image though. Like the one you pointed to. Can you even see that in the book?
Yeah. I mean,
Because I'm zooming in on my photo on my phone to see it. It's blurry when I zoom. But above it, there's a kind of a clear cross with the biggest lines, but it's not pointing vertically like the other one.
Yeah. All right. It's like three lines combined for the.
No, it's on a slant. It's on a slant. It's not on that axis though.
Yeah, but it's a clearer cross to me. If you're looking,
But I
for
mean,
a
like
cross,
the cross that you're pointing out's at a slant too. It's not perfectly vertical,
and it's
it's off center.
Less than 5 degrees. Pretty damn close.
I mean,
Government work right there.
John's not a government worker. He's pretty exact.
No, he's not.
He
not
is.
either.
I mean, the leg eater is nothing but the leg eater. You know, like the fence post is nothing but the fence post. That's where that's where people lose me. Like when you got to explain this kind of stuff, and then part of your explanation is like John sucks at his job.
No, I didn't say that. I never said that. I specifically mentioned many times that he is imprecisely precise.
I think he's precise when he wants to be precise, and imprecise when he wants to be imprecise.
It's imprecise because you don't want to give it away.
But then why not the bigger
You don't
cross?
want to make it abstract either.
Why not give
The
it
bigger
away?
cross.
The
The
leg
bigger
eater
cross
doesn't
is
give
just
it away?
implying that there's a cross there. It's not trying to be
You
a
take it.
visual
It could be, or it couldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, hey, this is something I noticed. You take that, it goes like this, and then it goes,
I don't know. It's just weird.
or it comes out of there. I don't know, whatever.
That door of possibility when you start stretching interpretations, when you get past like a 4 on the Rob scale, that door that opens up is huge. and it invites
agree.
in all kinds of craziness.
That's why I
It's
said,
already
what do you guys
huge
think
on-
of this?
It's a 1. It's still huge. There's
That's true.
coincidence is crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coincidences in this. They can't all be true.
So
But
what about the idea? What about the idea of the Mount Royal being in the image, with his head standing up and
Sure, but it doesn't help us
seeing that three-dimensional massive mountain of a?
because that Mount Royal could just be a play on Montreal, the name. It could be just that Mount Royal is in Montreal,
Right,
or it could be that the cask is buried on Mount Royal.
right.
What
Do we have?
do?
Do we have those top 5 landmarks of Montreal? Even the top 3. What would the
I don't
top 3
think-
be?
But the problem with that is that most of the paintings don't have the top 5 landmarks of those cities. Why do we have
How else would how else would you determine that is Montreal?
the latitude, longitude coordinates?
Even those are not apparent, and we only see.
I mean, they were
Latitude.
apparent enough for people to have figured out that it was
No.
Montreal before
Well,
John said it was
okay.
Montreal.
The 67, Expo 67.
The Rembrandt painting housed in Montreal.
That one's tough because there's Rembrandts everywhere.
Yeah, that's
That
not
one,
a city
though?
identifier. That's not a city identifier.
Oh, you're asking for city identifiers. I don't know. I
I'm
don't
saying
know.
like the top 5 landmarks. When you say, "Here's a city, I'm going to represent that city. I'm going to paint the landmarks
I don't know.
that we're going to
any
know."
I don't even any that would have to be there. Maybe Expo 67. I would agree with Expo 67.
But why not? Why not Mount Royal being one of
'Cause
those
it's a
things,
mountain.
and the oratory being another thing?
Because it's a
Because-
mountain and it changes depending on where you're looking at it. Like its outline changes.
Because if
But when you take into account the Golden Mile down below it on a grid, as
I mean,
the city below it,
But again, you'd have to know so much about Montreal and be looking for that already just to get the confirmer of the city. Like you basically already confirmed the city to get the city confirmer.
it's a tough one. That's why we're discussing it. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
where,
Oh yeah.
if we're going to say these things kind of share certain attributes, lounge and major landmarks that are there, or roads and outlines of state outlines, and things like that, we have to look at all these 12 images and say, are those things present in each one of these? And so my question is, can we look at this and say, what are the top 5 landmarks in Montreal, and are any of those present as a representation in this image?
I just don't get where you're getting that top 5 landmarks as being the reference from.
I don't understand why this
Just for basic knowledge of trying to figure out a city. If you say New York, you think of the Statue of Liberty,
Yeah.
the Twin Towers, the Empire State Building,
But
Brooklyn
like try
Bridge.
Houston. What
Right, the
Yeah,
Space
or
Center.
New Orleans.
landmarks are in the Houston painting?
Right. Obviously, those are harder things. I'm just,
Yeah.
if these are present, if these are attributes that are present in the images, we should look for those. And if that's the case in Montreal, what do you suppose that we should look for?
Well, yeah. And they said like as they did this, they changed things up. So that's where things like
Right.
city
Right.
nicknames people have presented as possible. Like if you look at the theme leading to a nickname. Yeah. Yeah, I don't, other than the world famous leg eater lamp that everyone from continent to continent comes to Montreal to visit. I don't really see anything obvious.
I think that's on the Yelp. It has its own Yelp review as top
Yeah,
I'm sure it does now.
They have Yelp guided tours of that now.
I think they're renaming the hockey team to the Montreal Leg Eaters as we speak. It's overtaking all the other parts of the city in popularity.
Who named that the leg eater, by the way, as opposed to like the
I don't know that one.
lion, goat eating leg? Or
It was
why
a
is it?
Quest
Is
for
it
Treasure thing. Somebody searched the Quest for Treasure archives a while back and found the first leg eater, first mention of leg eater, but I can't remember who it was.
it's eating a leg?
I just have to run for a couple minutes here. I'll be right back, I guess.
You got a workout?
Yeah, he's just got to take a jog around the block.
I got to run. I got some cardio to get done.
Excuse me. I don't want to look like George.
Oh,
Yeah, I just don't. I
Wouldn't
don't. I get the exercise for this, and I like it, but I don't see it as a requirement.
no,
But
I'm just saying
I
it's a
also,
potential helpful
yeah, I
because
don't.
there are very, very distinct things that are specific in like Cleveland. There's a very obvious landmark
Terminal
there,
Tower, yeah, it's one of the most famous
and
buildings.
the cultural gardens, obviously, but those are like I said, more micro
Yeah,
uh,
I mean,
clues.
even people in Cleveland wouldn't know the cultural gardens because it's.
No,
But you think of Chicago, you think of the Water Tower. You think of New York, you think of the Statue of Liberty. But like, I don't even know what buildings. Like, if I were to think of Montreal, I don't know what buildings. Like, if I were to think of New Orleans, I would think of St. Louis Cathedral, or maybe Preservation Hall. You know, Preservation Hall could be represented in the image. But I don't even know what I would think of for Montreal. I don't know what
well,
building.
you would think, yeah, you would think jazz,
For what, New
drinking,
Orleans?
New Orleans.
No, if I was thinking about specific buildings. Like, to
Oh,
me, the
building
two
specific.
most famous buildings in New Orleans would be the cathedral
Superdome.
and maybe, but I guess you could say that could be represented in the image too. I don't know. Superdome's just a dome. Like, how hard is it to paint a dome? But what I'm saying is, when I think New Orleans, I think of buildings. When I think New York, I think of buildings. But when I think Montreal, nothing comes to mind. I don't know what a famous building there would be. Someone said the nose of Montreal may be close to the shape of Cathedral Marie. I'm not even going to read those words because I can't pronounce them. I always thought that the nose looked like a dick. Just
Where's Cathedral Marie Ran? Is that the one that's by the park by the Lake Eater? Yeah, the locals would definitely think of the Golden Square Mile, and I would agree that is an obvious macro city clue. Matthew was mentioning that.
I mean,
But
once you
I definitely think you can look and say that the oratory is very likely there in that shape because it's specific to where it's on the hat being this topographical mountain above a city. At least that's how I
I mean,
look at the image.
you also have to.
Is then it's
Go ahead. Sorry.
Your routers taking a run.
George, go ahead.
You also have to be careful about becoming too confusing, right? Like, we look at Boston, and Boston's image has got shit all over the city, and it becomes confusing, right? Montreal has a very specific. Like, I've always loved Phoenix's idea with the blocks of the Golden Square Mile laid out in the image, with him pointing to the
Where the
block
seven.
where the leg eater is. Like, that's always been perfect to me. And once you
But
get
it's not perfect. But it's not perfect.
his explanation is perfect. Where he is pointing is
Well,
where that
there's
is.
more. There's more streets in the Golden Square Mile than what the 7 or 9 that are there.
Okay.
There's streets missing.
Okay. I'll take you at your word. When Phoenix laid out his idea and it was double checked, it worked perfectly. But I am not
Okay.
Phoenix, so
Maybe
I
they
cannot.
they moved the Square Mile.
I cannot
Would've been different.
accurately describe his ideas to you. But it works, and it's perfect, and there's no point in anything else. You've figured out Montreal, you've got the latitude and longitude coordinates, you've figured out the Golden Square Mile, you've figured out the puzzle with his fingers, you've found the leg eater, you've found granite walls. You don't need Mount Royal. You don't need to keep looking at the image for more confusing things that put you in different places. Like, you've
So,
got what you need.
The only problem with that is the ending. Like, where's the 12? Where's the stones? And if we're at the St. Stephen's Club, I mean, where's the 12 paces?
Could be in the
It's like
lawn. We don't know.
you take 6 paces and you're just across the lawn. So
I mean, that lawn's not that small.
it's tiny.
I gotta go to Montreal.
Yes, you do.
It's not that. It's not that small. It's not 6 feet across. It's
I'm not saying it's
larger
6,
than
but
that.
it's 12 paces. It's what, 40 feet, 30 feet, 2.5 per.
I mean, that lawn's been redone countless times. And if you end up at that leg eater and you end up at granite walls, it makes sense to me why this this cask is buried anywhere in the clubs, in the area of the club. It makes sense to me why that verse ends with asking permission to dig out.
I would
That-
agree. I would agree that the micro clues in that sense are around that area. If that's you're taking the granite walls and.
But if you
Where the other clues are.
if you move yourself from anywhere other than that area, then it no longer makes sense to me to ask permission to dig out. If you move yourself up to the top of Mount Royal, it makes no sense why you would want permission, or why Byron would specifically tell you to get permission.
Well,
Especially,
isn't that like a cemetery up there? I mean, the whole top of the mountain's like a major cemetery.
that's a great question.
No,
But
30
nowhere,
feet,
nowhere
25
else,
feet diagonally. They're saying.
nowhere else in this puzzle, including on a public baseball field, does Byron tell you to get permission. Public park, he doesn't tell you to get permission. Private park, flower bed, against the rules of the book, doesn't tell you to get permission. It makes sense why you would have to get permission there, especially if it was buried in their front yard.
Could be.
Dwarves,
Definitely could be.
dwarves are a
But you should.
fair folk for this, aren't they?
Dwarves are what?
Aren't
Gnomes.
dwarves one of the fair folks? For
Gnomes. Or are there gnomes and dwarves?
Gnomes?
so maybe
Right.
maybe the paces are dwarf-sized paces.
Wait, I got him. Alvin Clobbermankins, and gnomes. That's what's listed on the passage page under Group 7.
Someone in
Opal of the Lowland Gnomes.
Someone's in the comments says asking permission is a riddle.
Yeah, I wondered that too.
And that's only if we go with verse 5.
One thing
I'll see myself out now.
an idea, if it is a riddle, one idea I had once was about along the religious church theme, is that the expression, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to seek permission. So if you take the opposite of get permission, could be to ask forgiveness. Where do you ask for forgiveness? At a church. So
Or mission. A church has a mission.
yeah. I tend to think it's just literally saying get permission, but if it is a riddle, there's possibilities.
Let's all just dig up a church.
Abbott. I don't think he.
It's a ball field.
Great.
Don't say that. I don't think he would, words.
Well,
I don't think
I
that
mean-
man had any hesitation to do anything he wanted to do.
I'm still in the camp of I don't think a ball field is that egregious. I don't know why everyone is so torn up by this ball field. It's literally dirt that people dig in. It's like not causing any damage to anything.
You don't dig in the ball field. Ball fields have to be perfectly flat or kids could get hurt.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't
like,
know. The ones I played at when I was a kid they had divots all over the field,
Yeah, but-
mud puddles everywhere, and
We got hurt.
they're pretty shitty.
But if you dug a hole in a ball field and then replaced it properly, you probably leave it smoother than you found it.
I mean,
Like
Yeah,
there's
I
no
agree.
pipes
Yeah.
down there, there's no electrical down there. Probably you're not ruining
Plus,
historic property.
we're arguing about this stuff in the context of now. 1982, no one would have given a shit. Because just like Rob said,
no.
these were all sandlots. Nobody
Yeah.
cared.
I don't understand why people are so blown away by that. I think it's if you're in that area of Boston and there's that much history, literally across the road, you've got this historic 100-year-old like cemetery. You're trying to find somewhere in a historic area to dig where you're not going to destroy something important or be in a location that is super historic. what better place than a ball field to do it?
There's also a little bit of this might be different because we're Americans, you're Canadian, baseball is America's pastime. It's kind of almost, it's revered a little bit here, especially in the 80s. But still, I don't think you're wrong. I think Rob is also right. Back then, these were sandlots that nobody cared about. So.
Yeah.
But people treat it so sacred now because of that.
Just if you look at the 3 that were found, they were all found somewhere that would be reasonable to dig, where it would not destroy important property. You could dig
And Boston was a municipal field, by the way, too. It's a public access.
You wouldn't leave any damage. You wouldn't be destroying important property. You wouldn't be ripping up a historical site. Yet you are in the midst of and really close to things that are very important and historical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, George, how did you feel about that one?
He probably picked areas before he picked dig sites. Like I think he went to an area where he had ideas for it and then looked for the specific place where he could pull it off.
How did I feel about what?
Oh, the woman that dug up in New York on that ball field.
How did I feel about her ideas?
Yeah, that it was on a school ball field.
Oh,
It wasn't like a public.
So I didn't like it. Didn't. I mean, Boston bothered, but I don't say bothered me. Boston kind of bothered me because it was actually there. Doing the stuff she didn't dig in New York, by the way. She
No, I know, but just the fact that she thought it was there, and that
it didn't bother
high
me.
School.
It didn't bother me because I didn't buy her ideas. I didn't think there was going to be anything there anyway. So, like, her ideas didn't. I'm not saying they were bad. They just didn't make sense to me. They seemed kind of stretchy. Like, everybody at that Shore Drive ball field, a lot of people end up there, for essentially the same reasons. And it's all a little stretchy to me. Like, it's just sort of like switching Montreal and Milwaukee versus. There's a couple of things that fit really well for Shore Drive, but there's a lot that doesn't. We got to ignore a lot of stuff to make it work. So I didn't really buy into it, so it didn't really bother me.
Speaking of which, is that documentary coming out anytime?
I haven't talked to her in forever. Not this year, at least. And last I heard was in December, and she was shooting for it to be finished color graded. It's done editing, and she was waiting on it to be color graded. Yeah. And she's just taking her time. I think she said she was going to post updates on Instagram, but I'm not on Instagram, so I don't know. I should just call her and find out.
Let's get her on this podcast. Let's call her up right now.
All right, let's do it. I'm not going to
put the screws to her. Come on, finish that thing.
Christina, you know that thing that you probably don't care about anymore? When's it coming out?
That one that you invested a lot of money in, a lot of time and energy.
Yeah.
Don't you want to get paid for that?
I did, however, because now that you mentioned that, it reminds me of a question that we got last year. I did recommend to her that she do some sort of either physical release or like a buy up for the documentary. She said if she doesn't get distribution, she's going to put it on YouTube. But I suggested like a buy up special features kind of thing.
Do a subscription. People will watch it.
One of them that I suggested that I think she agreed to tentatively was unedited interviews. So releasing unedited interviews of
just the footage, not doing the whole thing.
No, doing the whole documentary, but like as a bonus features kind of thing. Special features, whatever. Like a buy up. You buy the DVD for $10, but if you spend 15, you get X.
You get the outtakes.
Yeah, and one of them was. I told her specifically John's, because John said a lot of things in that interview that he hadn't said before. He said a bunch of them since. But...
Well, we're waiting.
Yeah. It was crazy to me that he just rattled off the names of all the cities, except Milwaukee, which he screwed up, and said Minnesota.
Oh, shit.
So I'm sitting.
That's easy to confuse.
Yeah,
it's easy to confuse.
He's got a den, and then beside his den is his living room, and I'm sitting in the living room, and I'm hearing him rattle off all these names, and he's like, and Minnesota, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that she could definitely sell that pretty easily.
Yeah, I thought so.
18,000 times $5 a piece.
I mean, let's be honest.
That's her next project.
One
Paid for
searcher's
right
gonna
there.
buy it and just share it with everybody. And then there's like 4 people in the community that are just gonna give her $1,000 each, just for no reason. Just here, take it. Thank you for your hard work.
Oh, she did GoFundMe for it.
Yeah, and that was funded by. I mean, there were a lot of little donations, but it was basically funded by 2 people. Two
Oh,
people
I know.
put up like 75% of the money.
I know. That are mainly the producers, right?
They are now.
Does one of them have initials GW?
No, I don't have that kind of money. I work a regular job. I do not have that kind of money. I didn't even the only thing I asked was for so I told her I would do that whole thing, and all I asked for was special thanks. I asked for special thanks to JM because we used a lot of JM stuff. That was all I asked for.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I'm sure I'll be credited as like an interviewee.
His special thanks to Mr. George Ward.
Yeah, for opening doors and flying across the
Post credits. I think it should get like an executive producer, since you facilitated all the funding.
Then I could get my IMDb page. That's what I've always wanted.
I think I may have an IMDb page.
Anyway,
Does anyone know what the building across the street from the Mount Stephen, like the front of it, was like in the 80s? Like, was there a regular planter in front of that building?
I asked John that once, and he said no.
There never was.
He said no. The planter that's there now, he said it wasn't like that.
What's the clue for a forest to the south? It's the only standing member of a forest in that
It's
solve.
the tree.
What tree?
Any tree. The only tree.
At the Mount Stephen? Or was it St. Stephen or Mount Stephen?
It's
I can't
not
remember.
Mount Stephen.
There's a tree there on the lawn?
There
Not anymore.
Used to be, I think.
Yeah.
There used to be. So where there is now
What
a
would the
drive.
forest be?
I don't know. There's a forest to the south.
There
Somewhere.
doesn't have to be a forest.
Yeah.
It's
Well, yes, there does.
no. What is the only standing member of a forest?
So there used to be a forest there.
No.
What is
Like
the only standing member of a forest?
A standing member of a forest is a tree. So it's saying
The
the only
only-
tree.
The only standing member of a forest to the
Yeah.
south.
No. You're combining to the south when we don't know if we should
The
do
only
that.
standing
Okay,
member
not
of
for
a
sure, but-
forest. The only standing member of a forest is a tree. It's the only standing member of a forest. So it's the only tree, and then to the south.
Beneath the only standing member of a forest to the south. Whitestone closest.
Now, south
At
is
all
tricky
bases.
because all these streets here don't run exact northwest. They're not.
South would be east.
Like the Stephen faces like on a perfect diagonal. So if you're giving cardinal directions, it's a little challenging.
But my idea with this was always where the driveway is now, or the club. There used to be a sort of, and I know this flies against the rules, but this is the only way I can explain it, a flower bed, which was surrounded by rocks. I've only ever found one picture of it. I don't know if the rocks were white or I don't know. But my only idea with this was it was somewhere right around there, like maybe just on this side of the flower bed at the white stone that's closest at 12 paces. But that was before.
George, is that banging on in your house? Somebody
It
trying to
is
get
not
out of your closet?
No, it's on my end. Sorry. It's
Someone's trying to
My
get out
wife
of Braden's closet.
no. My wife is putting in new towel rack hanger or towel hangers in the bathroom upstairs.
That's right. Make the missus do all the work. Got a quality in Canada.
The honey-do list didn't get dude.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not on my list.
Quality and free healthcare.
I'm secreting tonight. Sorry, I can't do it.
Looking back, I think there was several trees on the Stephen lawn. There was like 2 on each side, sort of. So if you were going to use that clue as the only standing member of a forest, being
You would have
the
to use
tree
southernmost
to
tree.
the south, I guess. But interpreting south is tricky there.
Well, it's weird because like everything's pretty obvious until you get to that point where everything's changed. So
I don't know. You guys are using the wrong verse anyway.
yeah, that's true.
That's all I can say.
Could be. I would be so happy to be wrong. Because if I'm wrong, that means someone's proved that I'm wrong and someone proved something.
In reality,
yeah.
the Leg Eater is a clue to that being the first chapter of the Mount Stephen Club history.
What's the strongest evidence of verse 5 working with Milwaukee?
Drummond?
No, you mean 8.
No, the other way around.
Oh, yeah, okay. Of it working with Milwaukee?
Yeah, so like lane 222.
This is what Cameron's all over right now. You could look at his post.
Yeah.
Little.
I mean, could the lighthouse be the citadel? It's like so stretchy for me in that sense.
Yeah. I still don't like that when verse 8 is used in Montreal, it is just the Milwaukee solution but worse. Like every single line for Milwaukee means the exact same thing in Montreal but worse.
Kind of, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
come past the compass and reach the foot of a culvert makes perfect sense when you're talking about the North Point Lighthouse right next to the bridge with the lion, with the culvert, with the stairs that you walk down. It makes no sense when you're like, we're just walking up some stairs to this landing that kind of looks like a compass rose. It doesn't. It's the exact same thing but worse.
But it is possible.
Anything's possible.
I'm just saying, because you can stretch, you get stretch your, that happens all the time. You see the people put the solves where they're,
yeah.
You look at it and go, yeah, it's definitely possible, but it's
stretchy.
Stretch.
In their defense, Drummond is very difficult to argue.
It is. But even so like lane 222, think about, there's nothing that really knocks you out and says that's an absolute possibility that that's in Milwaukee in Lake Park.
Or Montreal.
And we really don't have a good lane 222 for Montreal.
Anybody in the comments? We got a good lane 222.
I've been looking for that for 10 years.
Wait, what's that? Who did the it was the cipher. I think it was Andrew Cullen. I don't know if it was his or he reposted it about the M-O.
Jesus Christ.
M-O-T.
We've got people in the comments saying that verse 5 is for Charleston now.
Oh, well, that you know where that comes from.
That one
I think
guy,
that comes from
James
just the
V?
fact that you can't match the lane 222 to Milwaukee, so then you said that, well, it's got to be something else, and then there's another switch. It kind of justifies you not finding good matches to match verse 5 with Milwaukee. So you got to say, well, it doesn't go with that. It goes, there's a third one that has to be swapped. Gives you license to say that you can't be wrong with that.
You have a couple of answers. Lane is the name of a house in a Milwaukee neighborhood. Okay. Lane 222 is a cipher. I don't know which cipher they're referring to though.
But how do you reconcile to the Japanese hints?
Yeah, so the cipher was what I was talking about. It's like 2, 20, and 2. If you do a Caesar cipher, LANE, it's MONT. or MONL or something like that. The MON is
Okay.
works well, but then it's like a T and the L is like a stretch. I can't remember exactly what it was. That was the only thing that
But
seemed.
what do you say with the Japanese hints on that then?
Since our
That lane is a proper name.
oh yeah, in this context, it's a proper noun.
So if you're
Montreal's a proper name.
Yeah, what was? God damn it! We almost have to have John on these when we talk about Montreal. What was it John was saying about Lane? He wrote an article about it.
You're talking about Hartupi?
Hartupi. It was something about how Lane translates into
Quebec?
Montreal. Yeah, Quebec.
Quebec. Yeah, the Quebec is an Algonquin word that means it's like not river, something that would be a synonym for lane. I'll find it. Yeah, it's a narrow passage or a strait. So you could refer to it as a lane, which is an interesting connection to New York. If you think that
There's no good lanes for
is the clue in New York.
Shit.
Milwaukee.
What could 222 be in New York?
No, I don't mean to move it to New York. I just mean that there's things that seem to be in
Yeah, no, I was kidding.
similarities in multiple puzzles that
The 222 works really good with the road into Montreal.
The 2 or 20 or whatever. Somebody else in the comments.
Yeah.
Said that.
yeah,
Sort of like
if you say that
220 as well.
lane means Quebec, which is your province, and then you give the highway leading into Montreal, your verse has put you in the city in 2 lines.
Yeah. But is that what that would be? It's lane 220 as well? Like I don't think I understand how that road has 2 names. 2 and 20. Or is it like Route to Interstate 20 would be in the US, where it's like one road merges into another road, so they have 2 names for a section until they split off again.
I think it was 2 and 20.
Someone Canadian answer in the comments.
I think it's stretchy.
Yeah, that verse is very frustrating.
Yeah, it's 2 and 20.
It's stretchy as shit until you get to the leg. Then it just makes sense.
2 and 20 is a pretty on the nose as far as like a highway coming in to Montreal. And one of the first things you see is the oratory up on the hill.
So
in an arc of light.
Let me ask you this: how valid is it to ignore shit that you like? One of the things that I've always said is if you have a 5-step process, if you know what step 3 is, you don't need to know what step 1 and 2 is. So if you're looking at this puzzle from a perspective of just digging up a cask, not from like, I want to know how this puzzle works, how valid is it just to ignore all of that until you get to Granite Walls? Because you know Granite Walls is in the verse, you know the leg eaters in the image, they're right across from each other, just continue.
I think they're just confirmation on top of confirmation on top of confirmation. You can't just jump in the middle, I don't think.
Well, that's not like that's hard. Those 2 things are almost impossible to argue. It's almost, like Boston was kind of solved this way. It was just where Krupat said, where can I stand facing some water with my back to the stairs? And he's like, right here. Like, what comes before that doesn't matter. It's what's after it. Same in Charleston.
But you can do that in many other places at different cities, not necessarily in that.
Right, that's what I'm asking. How
location.
valid?
But I'm just saying, people
but not where the image gets you to that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where the image and the immigration puts you in a neighborhood, then you have to find that space. That's a little different.
But once you're there.
Yeah.
Once you're in Charleston and you see May 1913, you know you're in the right spot. because it's right there. It's right in front of you. You know.
Yeah.
How like you can ignore the rest and just continue on from there. But how valid is that? Like, do you absolutely have to understand what every line means? I mean,
Yeah,
I would.
because you have to look. That's what I'm saying. Like a micro clue is a vicinity of where he's supposed to dig. It's nothing else. It can't be. Like,
But-
why would he? Why would he put a leg eater and then take you up to a mountain?
I mean, I think that's what I'm. I think we're agreeing. What I'm asking
I'm just
is,
saying it confirms that that is the vicinity.
yeah. So how valid is it to just ignore everything that comes before that?
I think you have to confirm whether you're. I mean, yes, you can do it that way. It was actually done that way in Boston.
I mean, it was done that way in all three of them.
The other
that way.
fuzzy clues, the other fuzzy clues, you know, they didn't have exact. They didn't have worked out in Chicago. They didn't have exact. They didn't work it out in Cleveland at all. They just went to the spot.
Follow the instructions.
But I think if you're like where we are now, and with the amount of research and information that we have available to us, I think we have to. It's not just enough to go and hone in on that one spot. I think you have to backtrack and confirm that you can get there in a reasonable mean.
I think that almost invites more problems than. That's why you have, people who.
I'm saying as far as you feeling good about yourself, you definitely have a means to get there, a reasonable probability that you're following up, and you get to your locale.
So I guess it would depend on which is more important: do you find in a cask or understanding the puzzle? Because if you just want to find a cask, just YOLO, Because that's kind of what everybody else did. Rob and the gang YOLO'd, Ryan and Andy YOLO'd, Crew Pat YOLO'd.
Yeah, well, they or even just used outright wrong clues to get
Yeah.
to the right end.
Man and Beast. So, I don't know. But like the having the focus, we focus so much on understanding the minute details of every single line in this, and I think that screws up hunters more than it helps.
Well, that's kind of how you started out this conversation. Is that do you feel like the verse is
I know.
the thing that drops you into where you're going to be, or is it the image? To me, I really feel like the image is the one that gives you the confirmation of what it is you're looking at, and that defines that micro area, that micro vicinity of where you're supposed to be.
Except Boston didn't do that. Boston was all over the place. Boston was in another city. Salem. I mean, there's Salem Street, but
Sorry, I didn't.
What are you
follow.
saying, Boston's? Yeah, what does that mean? Boston's in
Boston,
another city.
well, Salem, because John was like, witches. When you think witches, you think of Salem, and then I honestly, I just remembered. Oh yeah, there was Salem Street that was right there.
Yeah.
But other than Salem Street and Home Plate, and you could argue the portholes that aren't on the U.S. Constitution. Everything else in that image is just everywhere. It's all over the place. It's all over the city. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Well, the zip code.
Yeah, but I'm saying all the other visual matches. The Boston Pops, the Boston Globe,
Yeah.
whatever that building is that's supposed to be at a college somewhere. The ferry and the library. Like, it's all just all over the place.
I mean, you're looking at a field. You're looking at a field, not just the hairline, but you're looking at a field of view of the stars and the moon and the sky. It's a field of view, almost like you're looking through a telescope. That aperture that you're looking at, that's a field, literally called a field of view.
So,
We're on a field.
a baseball field, but everywhere's a field. Grant Park's a field.
The picture of Grant, a representation of Grant without a beard.
Yeah,
Or is it Lincoln? I don't know.
I don't buy those. I can sort of see them, but I don't buy them. But.
I mean, I can buy the Grant thing looking at the precursor images that he did, because they look nothing like Grant. So it's not like he he had a pattern of a gnome, or a leprechaun or leprechaun. The two images that he drew before the final painting kind of look the same, and then he went in a completely different direction. And yeah, it kind of resembles Grant. So I mean, it's arguable. I don't think it's as important as people make it out to be, but I can see it.
I don't know. I don't. Could be anything. Could be Lincoln.
Well, it's definitely over his shoulder.
Well, the big hat, right? The tall hat that he apparently only wore like once, and everyone thinks he wore it all the time. If it's castle hat, you put a giant hat on top of someone.
Oh, the beaver hat.
The
Lincoln
Lincoln,
wore the beaver hat. Mm-hmm.
like the whatever you call it, straight
Beaver. It's a beaver hat. Beaver skin hat or beaver pelt. Beaver.
No.
Lincoln's hat, top hat.
Yeah, like that.
They're called beaver hats.
The fuck is a
They're
beaver
made from
hat?
beaver fur.
No, really?
Lots of hats are made from
Yeah.
beaver fur.
Those hats
Cowboy hats are
specifically are
made from
beaver
beaver
hats.
fur.
This thing?
It's a top hat.
That's a beaver hat.
It's a
I'm
top
gonna Google
hat.
it right now.
Cool.
It is a top hat made of beaver.
Lots of hats are made of beaver. Cowboy hats are made of beaver. They're not beaver hats. They're cowboy hats.
Regardless,
I'm gonna Google this. Somebody on the notes.
that could be kind of that in a representative metaphorical.
It's a top hat for sure, but it's made from beaver skin.
Stovetop hat. That's what people in the comments are saying. Or stovepipe hat.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. A stovepipe hat. That's
There
how
are
I-
stovepipes in that image. Aren't there? Little tiny things with like the rain deflectors on them.
Oh,
I
great.
think you're right.
Oh, I'm right. I'm always right. Everything I say is right.
stovepipe hats of Lincoln's era were tall with flat crowns and a flat brim. They were usually made from stiffened felt in either beaver fur or silk. The beaver skin stovepipe hat reportedly
Bob is
belonged
really
to
trying
Abraham
make
Lincoln.
himself correct.
You Google it. I don't have to Google it. You do it.
What riveting media this is. Three
That
guys.
could be a tie to Montreal. Montreal's
Cowboy hats.
Montreal's logo.
Cowboy hats. Key features and benefits. Material 100% beaver fur or beaver blends with belly fur being particularly prized for its soft, luxurious feel. They often feature high X ratings, e.g. 100X, and cost around $1,000.
Stovetop stuffing. Not stovetop hat. Stovepipe.
This is a fun conversation.
Tim said stovetop.
I'm enjoying every second of it. I love it.
I
feel
Googled-
the people who are watching this happen.
Yeah, I Googled beaver hat, and the first thing that came up, now there is a top hat that came up, and then there's a bowler, and then there's that thing that Hasidic Jews wear that's made out of beaver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
typed Lincoln
Stetsons.
beaver hat. Stovetype hats of Lincoln's era were tall with flat crowns and a flat brim. They were usually made from stiffened felt in either beaver fur or silk. Popular in the 19th century.
Whenever anybody asks
Says-
me if we have to have like an outline or agenda for a Sunday Funday, I'm just going to send them this.
Well, in all fairness, there was a topic for tonight that changed last minute. So this is totally winging it.
Well, I think the beaver thing is actually a tie to Montreal. In the motto, in the crown of the city, do you know it has a beaver at the very top of it?
Isn't beaver like the Canadian emblem?
National animal.
National animal? Because they're hardworking and fearless. And
Diligent.
it's also
And they play hockey.
the animal of firefighters.
Is it really?
Because the same reasons.
Because I got baked tape.
Yeah.
George, I don't remember. Did
So-
you tell everyone at the beginning about Ken and tonight's theme and all of that? I can't
I
remember.
did not. I didn't know if that was personal, so I didn't say.
Well, I just meant that this on the schedule tonight that Ken was going to be presenting his Montreal theory. That was the plan, and then just that it changed.
Yeah,
and we're going
yeah.
to do
Well,
it different.
I changed the title of the stream to just chat.
Okay.
So I
So
figured.
where was his spot? Do you know what park he's in?
Well, he was using the Chicago verse, and
No.
I don't know.
No,
I
it's
don't know.
open.
I don't know.
There's no way to connect that verse to the Chicago image.
He was talking Montreal, right?
Yeah, he was talking
Yes.
Montreal. I just don't.
But you don't know what park. Okay. You were going in, blind.
Yeah.
Now stay tuned to find out.
Why was the topic changed? There was a personal thing that.
Ken just couldn't do it tonight,
couldn't
so
do it
we'll
tonight.
hopefully do it another night.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like this happened before. It's the thing about getting a bunch of people together for a Sunday Funday. Like sometimes shit just happens.
We could do the spreadsheet thing.
We should need to
boy.
finish the spreadsheet conversation. I think that was a productive conversation that was never finished.
How about the sounds in the verse? Remember I mentioned that? That was kind of a
Yeah.
thing we could talk about.
Sure. So you think every verse has a sound in it?
No,
Oh,
not everyone.
okay.
Oh.
Sorry. I don't know
George.
why. I don't know why that was funny to me. It was just like, let's talk about the
There's a
sounds.
sound. You
Let's
know
talk
what
about
the
the
sound
sounds
is
in
if
the
we start
verses.
talking about sounds? It's going to be the sound of people clicking off of the screen. Yeah, going down to 25 people, 24.
No, 95% of the internet is actually worse than this, so
Yeah.
maybe people will stick around.
At least we're not AI. You know what I really want to talk about? And Rob, I think you've tried to talk about it before. And it was
Okay.
just mentioned in the comments. Addresses in verses. I don't understand
Address?
this.
Oh,
People think addresses of places are in the verses. But I think both of us agree that like when we were kids, we didn't know the address of any of these parks.
no, of parks, especially no.
But
Hell no.
I don't understand how people find addresses in the verse. Like I get the verse has numbers in it, but
I mean, I guess there could be an address to someplace like if it was a park and it had like an office building to it or like a.
or like the Fountain of Youth. You know, the Fountain of Youth's address has been
Yeah.
basically the same for.
I wouldn't
100
consider that a public park though.
No, but I'm saying if like
How would you mail something to the baseball field at Popolo Field? You wouldn't.
you couldn't.
There's no way.
Although, if you take 220 and you times it by 2, you get 440, and Mount Stephen is 1440 Drummond. Ooh, there it is.
And they're also
Yeah. So, or you could say that there's some kind of numbers working with cross streets or names as cross street. I could see that as an address,
I mean, I
not
can.
as a number address.
There's
Yeah, cross street.
there's been several streets in the verses, so yeah, that could work.
Okay, let's play your
Right.
game, Rob.
Like a
Go ahead.
sign, street sign.
Do you want to do streets or sounds?
Ooh,
Or
So-
what does the audience say?
sounds are more fun because we can do things.
Streets
like,
have been done
"Ooh."
lots.
My spreadsheet. I can open up my spreadsheet and share
Okay.
that.
I'm going to try and find all the sounds before you get your spreadsheet open.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
a whistle
I'll start out
sounds in Houston.
Well, we could just go
Hold on,
from
I wanna-
verse
The
one,
sound of friends in New Orleans.
but that's not a sound.
The sound of friends.
No,
is-
it's okay. Let me explain sounds in verse. So they're either audible things that you're supposed to hear on the site, or something that gives away the location.
okay. So, whistle sounds gives away the train theme. Sound of
Okay.
friends.
We should just do these 1 through 12.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Whistle sound.
Or we're starting on Roanoke.
Oh, I thought you said verses.
Verses.
Oh, okay. I don't have those.
Just go to 12 Treasures, open up any page, and there's the verse numbers at the top.
Oh, I got them on my spreadsheet.
Okay, so Houston's verse 1.
Okay.
So
There's the
whistle
spout.
sounds,
The whistle sounds.
very important to the theme.
And there's the spout exclamation point. So there's an emphasis there. Almost like you're screaming. Somebody's saying that line. There's a spout.
Okay.
It says silently playing step on nature, cast in copper equals mel plus walk plus key. I understand the walk key part. I don't understand the mel.
The what?
It was just a comment. It was a comment that said silently playing step on nature, cast in copper equals mel walk key. And step on nature, cast in copper, like I could see that, even though keys are brass.
Like melt?
But I don't understand mel for silently playing.
Silently playing.
I don't need
A mel is a silent tone used in audiology. Okay. So we're at 3, which is Boston.
Wait, was that 2?
Oh, 2, we had Sounds of Friends.
Sounds.
The Sound of Friends.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
As the sound of friends fills the afternoon hours.
Yeah.
Those lines drive me crazy from the Japanese clues. I've worked on that for so long.
So we're hearing people chattering, laughing.
3, we
Whatever.
have nothing.
What's 3?
Boston.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for Boston.
4, nothing.
Which 4?
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
None.
5.
Well, you have free speech.
Okay.
But free speech is a concept, not a sound. Speech could be a sound.
Hmm.
5 is Montreal or Milwaukee.
I
Wind,
think in
maybe?
Montreal, it's nothing. Which one?
Wind, maybe?
I
I mean,
didn't have
it's
anything for Montreal.
wind is active, windswept.
No, but it's not an audible.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
Can be audible.
stretchy.
We got a couple of sounds in Charleston.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
clear song
Charleston,
of water.
stand and listen to the birds. Hear the cool, clear song of water. Hearken to the words. Freedom at the birth of a century or May 1913.
Yep.
There's a bunch of sounds listening there. So sound clues. You got to be around that fountain, right?
At that point, yeah.
I mean, do you
So
hear
you
the
get to
shore?
May 1913.
Do you hear the? Do you hear the waves on the?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Anywhere in that park, they'll
Yeah.
beat against that. But
Yeah.
I think
So
more
it
to
doesn't
your
necessarily have to be the birds could be like seagulls and not necessarily like birds chirping on that.
more to your point. I think like
Okay.
if you combine those clues together in the way that it seems like they're intended to be, you would be at the bandstand next to that water feature until you get to May 1913, where you would absolutely be at the main capstan.
Yeah.
So we're at what, 7?
Sounds
San
from the
Francisco?
sky.
Sounds from the Sky.
Sounds from the sky near Aces High. Yeah.
8.
Silently
And
playing.
so
Silently playing, maybe?
sounds from the sky. We say that's radio transmission.
Yeah.
So that's not really anything we're audibly hearing. So is there some other sound that maybe
Well,
fits
I mean,
that clue?
It would work with the Japanese senses. It says it's something you have to have, almost like a machine to hear. So it's
Okay. So you would be listening through a radio speaker.
yeah.
Your Walkman. You would have your Walkman.
So 8 is Milwaukee. It's like Graydon said, it would be silently
Harp.
playing.
A woman with harpsichord silently playing.
Well, you wouldn't hear it, but it evokes the sense of
Sound.
sound.
9.
Hear the
Still
honking.
10.
Whirring
Hear the
sound.
honking.
Whirring sound. 11 is
I don't see any here.
nothing.
What's 11?
Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Ooh.
And 12 is
Oh,
Rumble.
Roanoke is a path beckons.
Path beckons. Is it sound?
Yeah, it's calling out to you. Beckons.
Yeah, but you can do that with a sign.
Same way sounds from the sky is sounds. It's beckoning. There's something beckoning to you. Come this way.
But you can beckon visually. You can beckon someone by motioning. It doesn't have to be a sound.
It could be a sound.
Lots of things could be a sound.
Sure. Well, yeah, if we want to go to 10 on the obscurity scale, I can find you one on each of these.
Listen.
So
a path beckons is not sound related. It's visual.
12 has got a crazy amount of sounds.
What if it's like a path that you're walking on and you hear the sound of your feet shuffling through dirt? Like you're walking on a path, quiet path. The path beckons.
What if granite walls is a wall that you knock on and you can figure yourself
Yeah,
out?
we can get if we go that far, we can do anything you want.
Oh, you guys are getting stretchy now. And what's the last one?
Chicago.
Windswept halls is less stretchy than a path beckons, I think.
No, I would agree.
Chicago's got a lot. Seek
Yeah.
the sounds, rumble, music, hush.
Music, hush. See the sounds of rumble brush. Is it? It's not rumble, comma. It's what is it? Seek the sounds of rumble, brush, and music, hush. Yeah, so that's definitely vicinity. Micro, get me in the vicinity of that.
It's kind of describing things around.
Well, it's like Houston. It's the theme of that. Houston has a theme of trains. This has a theme of like the art museum and symphony hall. So it's
But we go back to that original question: is that theme intentional, or is that just because that's where you're at? That's what you got to work with.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see the theme as being art in anything other than those last two lines.
Well, with M&B,
but you've got the art museum, you've got the fountain, and you've got the Sullivan patch.
Yeah.
So you're starting at Symphony Hall and the art museum. That's your first location that you theoretically would begin at. So that's Prussian music. So it's symmetrical that the verse would end with Prussian music if that's how it began.
I mean, if you're wanting to do
hush.
If you're wanting to do art, something like 60% of this verse is just statues, art museums, symphony hall. It's all art.
Location wise, because they're all in that area.
Because they're all there. Yeah. So it goes back to the original question.
But is that a theme? Is that a theme or is that a location? You know,
That's yeah. It's just what's there.
there's arguments on whether or not there are themes, by the way.
No, yeah, and they're great arguments on whether or not there are themes.
Yeah.
And some, I'm like, there's got to be a theme.
There's absolutely themes in some of these. You cannot argue that Houston does not have a train theme in it.
Yeah.
You've got 982, you've got tracks in the image, you've got a spout, you've got the whistle sound. You've got so many things pointing to this theme of trains.
But then
is that a park and vicinity clue? They could all just be that we need to be around that train. Maybe
because
sites at the train.
Like 982 would be one of the hardest clues in this entire puzzle if you didn't already know what it was.
Yeah, it's almost a leg eater.
And the verse itself tells you to take your task to the 982. And the book tells you what your task is. A little digging is your task.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if Wheelhouse's thing with the children's zoo wasn't so damn good, I would say fall back on you got to dig where that train was, because that's what the verse tells you to do.
I don't think the children's zoo is as good.
You don't like
And
it?
I think the visual clues tell you that you're right around the train tracks too.
And I just don't know, like it's difficult to know exactly where the train is. Like from what I understand, the train was right at the entrance to the children's zoo.
No.
Where it is now. Like the train back then was where the entrance to the children's zoo is now.
Oh. Well, the
Or
train
to
was
the
right
entrance to
away.
the zoo, not the children's zoo, but the zoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is now.
Yeah, sort of. The train was kind of beside the lake.
So,
But
Oh.
there's no way you can see the spout from the children's zoo.
Oh no, I've never been there, so I don't know.
I mean, like everything else just works though. The path through the water that veers.
No, but look at the definition of veers. That arc tunnel, water tunnel thing, that doesn't work for the Japanese clue for water
I know.
veers. I think it's
Either-
all coincidence.
Either way, we're not digging this one up.
Uh,
Water that's being shot up into the sky. Do you think this is a normal spring or a man-made fountain? Then it would work for the lion fountain. Like, there's a lot of stuff that.
It's the spout in the lake. How could it not be the spout in the lake?
Well, then what is the lion? Through the woods, no lion fears.
Oh, that clue could be the drinking fountain, or that could be.
But where would that be? That's all. Those things only exist in the zoo, as far as I know. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. As far as I
But
know,
it also says no lion fears. So maybe that's suggesting that you don't go to the zoo.
now we're
You would have no fears of lions if you didn't go into the zoo.
okay. All right.
I'm just suggesting, but like to say that water veers, that a tunnel with water going up that doesn't match the Japanese clue is a stronger clue than a spout
Yeah.
next to the spout of a train in a train themed verse. Like, it's not as strong.
Where
I'm not
did
saying
the
it's wrong, but it's not as strong.
yeah? I mean, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I have no skin in this game, so I don't care.
So, but the looking back part is looking at the spout far away, right?
It says looking back, there's the spout.
Looking
you
back
look-
from treasure ground, there's the spout. So you're looking at the spout from a distance. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, but there's no
Looking-
way you can see the spout from the back of the children's zoo.
But can you see it from where the 982 was?
Yeah, it's right next to it.
Oh.
Now, I think the dig spot is actually on the other side of the lake. So you would actually look back over the lake and see the 982 across the lake with the spout, potentially even with the spout lining up with the spout of the train. But easy to see from there. But to go into the zoo and go through the zoo all the way to the back to where the children's zoo was, there's
So
no way
if you look
there.
at the framing of the composition of the painting, you've got the gem in the foreground, and then the rhinoceros, camel, they're in the background.
Yeah.
So would that make sense in your interpretation of that?
I don't think the gem placement in the image is important. But
you
it
just
would
said
make
that you just said you were across from from where the 982 and the train was, right? And that the zoo is across from where
the
you think
zoo's on the other side.
treasure.
So the zoo is on the south side of the lake.
Yeah.
There's too much for the zoo to discount.
What? It's
I mean,
all-
there's even like image matches
all-
on the front of the book for the zoo. You know,
But the zoo is there, so you can reference it. It doesn't mean it's the dig spot.
without you can only reference it by going into it. And then we run into the we run into the problem of having to know the history of every single place we're wanting to dig. Like he seems to give you information you need along the way. There's no like information you have to know already. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I understand conceptually what you're saying, but I don't get it in this instance.
well, why include if it's not anywhere near the children's zoo? You don't have to go in the children's zoo. Then why include elements of the children's zoo?
Like what?
Like the most direct I could think of would be the eagle design that's on the moccasin in the front of the book, that hangs above each entrance to the children's zoo, or that hangs above the entrance to the. I forget which section of the children's zoo it hangs above. So the children's zoo has the two wooden, like the entrances to the different parts of the children's zoo have the two columns, and then a sign above the two columns, and then one has the giant eagle that's represented on the moccasin in the front of the book.
the moccasin in the front of the book.
Yeah, let me give you a page number. You got a book handy?
Yep.
All right, let me get a page
So you're saying like this is something that Byron would have taken a photo of and John would have drew?
number. Yeah, go to page 31. And look
But
at
again,
the
this
moccasin.
This isn't part of the verse or the painting. So why?
I
does it
know.
have to be
I'm
part of
just,
the-
I'm just, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Security.
Page you said 31.
Yeah, 31.
I'm using my hunter's guide, so it's a little slower. Okay, here we go. 30. Oh boy, 19.
Where's the eagle?
Top of page 31.
Okay, 31. Top of the page.
It's a giant moccasin.
Oh, I see.
That's not even an eagle.
It's the hawk, eagle, whatever. It's the design. I don't know what kind of bird it is, but it's the design above the entrance to the.
Well, it's an indigenous moccasin. Is that not a thunderbird?
Sure.
You're saying that's an exact. It's a blurred kind of bird
Yeah,
with its
I'll find you
wings apart.
I'll
It
find
doesn't
you a-
have to be
I'll
an
find
exact
you,
image match.
but it is.
I have another
let me see-
question on bottom of 31 in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, what is that?
Bottom left-hand corner.
It's John. It's John
John's penis.
Palancar. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
And then there's a little somebody like with the hand out waving with the big nose
I gotta find.
and the hand and
Find all
little
of Will
four
House's
fingers coming up
photos.
from the bottom.
I think we've taken like Wheelhouse's stuff for granted for so long, and I've lost so many of his images.
There's nothing you can show me, George, that's going to convince me that that is an exact one-to-one. It's such a generic image. It's like that's if you Google indigenous thunderbird, you're going to find images all over the place that have that similar
Okay,
sort of
well.
widespread shape.
But there's one in the children's zoo.
Yeah, coincidence.
Okay.
For me, the children's
You
use
know what that looks like? That looks like the top of a totem pole.
well because thunderbird is commonly represented.
Okay.
I also take into account John saying that this was the one that he hated the least because it had to be so exact, and the lineup for the light posts and the entrance post for the children's zoo that's so freaking perfect to this painting that if you lose perspective, it becomes impossible.
Yeah, the children's zoo tie for me is that one post of the sign and the perspective. Beyond that, I don't think the clues are strong at all. It's all circumstantial coincidence.
Okay. It's just one of those things like we'll never really know because we can't go back there. And we're only going off of other people's opinions. And
Yeah.
like opinions differ, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I talk to Willhouse about the children's zoo, he's going to say one thing. I talked to Brian, I forget his last name, who worked at the children's zoo. Like he worked there for 30 years and his opinions differ. Like memories change.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It could be right, but objectively, it would be hard to say that that theory is as strong as any of the found ones.
But there's so many weird things. Just somebody who wants to talk about. There's so many weird things about the zoo. So many just sort of coincidences, like
Yeah.
the brownie statue. You know.
But what's definitive? Like in any of the found ones, there's like 3, 4, 5 things that are like you can't dispute that.
Okay, so the definitive things would be the train out in front of the zoo. That
That's not
sign,
in the zoo.
but
You're not.
I'm not arguing the zoo. You're asking what's definitive, and I'm telling you what's definitive.
Yeah.
What's definitive is the train. The small train tracks, which admittedly are not in the zoo, unless you talk to Willhouse, who says there were.
No, that was a wheeled train.
It's small of scale. That's what he was using, small of scale.
Yeah, it's not the train that was on
it's not
track.
the tracks.
that was
It's
on
just a
wheels.
train. Yeah.
Yes.
The lion, I would argue, is definitive. I would argue that the Thunderbird is definitive.
But that's not in the verse or the image.
No, but it's in the book. And in the same way, Fountain of Youth is in the book.
Stretchy.
But it's
But
there.
there are.
But it's not tied to the image at all.
Image
It's not in no way tied to Houston specifically or that verse.
I mean,
or that
you're just asking me what's definitive. Like, I don't give a shit. You're just asking me what's definitive. Those two things match.
But I'm saying the children's zoo theory is sentimental because it has a lot of history and connection.
Right.
So I'm saying if we look at objectively, is the children's zoo theory have as much strong objective ties to a solve as the three that were found? Or even
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know because we can't know. But I haven't heard anything except just dig at the frickin' train. I haven't heard anything in the rest of that park that's as good. Especially given Byron's emails. Like, there's a lot, man. There's a lot of sorta, kinda.
Outside of the verse and the image. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I'm just, I'm not trying to argue. I'm not trying to argue Will House's point.
I don't have that feeling. Yeah. Just if I try to look at it objectively, even ones that aren't confirmed.
Yeah.
Like, there's things about San Francisco that's like, wow, it's hard to argue that. There's things about the Fountain of Youth like, wow, how would you argue that?
Yeah.
There's no smoking gun at the children's zoo for me. There's a lot of cool things and coincidence, and there's history and correspondence, and there's all of that. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but it doesn't like scream with the same level of evidence as the other ones.
No, I
That's
agree.
why I'm not prepared to.
But I think a lot of them are like that. A lot of them sort of have that same sort of.
Well, it's kind of like what you're saying, where you jump in that third level clue or that third out of 5 clues. The beginning doesn't have to really totally line up. If everything at the end makes sense, then you're right.
Yeah. I mean, if you take me out of the children's zoo, I'm digging at the stupid train. Wherever I can at that train. Wherever spouts line up. The spout lining up is difficult to me because that thing is mobile. So if you had to have do any sort of perspective with that, it would be almost impossible. But
What did you say it was mobile? It moved around in the lake?
Yeah, the aerators in those ponds, they move around. They're not generally fixed.
They're not fixed. Now they are. I don't know. They may have been then, though.
They kind of float. That one was the one.
Now
that
they do. I'm
floated.
saying then, back in the 80s, they may have been fixed.
They may have been fixed.
Permanent,
I don't know.
hard piped.
I just assume. I mean, in order for an aerator to work, it would have to move around, wouldn't it? Well, I guess not. It would just pump from the bottom and circulate water.
Yeah.
But why not follow the clues to the other side of the lake? That's why you don't see anything compelling.
Because the verse tells you to take your task to the 982, and the verse tells you a little digging's your task.
Yeah, but that's at the start of the verse. So why not then go from the 982 and follow it to clues that take you to the other side of the lake?
I would think because 982 is so obscure. It is absolutely obscure. You can't know what the 982 is until you've essentially solved this puzzle. And according to the verse, if we're just doing what the verse tells us to do, we take our task to the 982.
Yeah.
I mean, in order to have the 982, you have to solve the Herman Melville quote. You have to do all of these things.
Yeah. But like finding the leg eater is tricky still, even though we know kind of where to look for it.
Mhm.
But if you've solved Herman Melville, like if you knew it was in Herman Park, would it be that hard to find the 982? Especially in an image and verse match that has a train theme to it.
I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to find a train. You got to be
I
looking.
don't think it
You got
would
to
be
be
that
looking.
hard to
You
find
got to
the
be looking
982.
pretty hard to like notice the number of the train, associate it with the verse. Like that's something people
But
would see in passing.
if you've got a train theme, you've got train tracks in the image, you've got a spout, you've got a train whistle, you know you're in Herman Park. Like if you're just trying to find 982 in Houston, yeah, I agree. But if you're trying to find it in Herman Park, I don't think it would be that as hard as finding the leg eater.
I like how Matthew Wood said this is a similar argument as the leg eater as a dig spot. It's true. It's also a similar argument as the fence post and fixture as a dig spot. And
Yeah.
It's a micro clue.
yeah,
But I don't think it's as micro, is what I'm arguing. It's not as hard to find if you've found Herman Park. Like if you told someone, go, you're in Golden Square Mile in Montreal, find this leg eater, you could spend forever trying to find it.
Nick Blowen says the book has the 98 train and a big H like Houston uses. The book has the 92 or the 82 train,
Yeah.
which was drawn in 82, and the big H is an I-beam. But
Yeah,
I get the point. Like I'm not saying that's wrong. I just there's a
like also if the train was called the 982 but didn't have a giant 982 on it, and you had to like research to figure out it was called the 982, fine. But if you know you're in Herman Park and you know it's a train theme and there's a giant old train there and you walk up to it and you see the numbers 982 on it, for me that is
But what I'm
enough to say I know I'm in the right place now.
What I'm saying is, in order for you to get to a point where you're in Herman Park and you know there's a train theme and you see a train, you have to have solved 90% of this puzzle. You have to go from.
You don't know the train theme until you put the image match together.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And you only put that together once you figure out it's Herman Park.
Like
Math.
It is very hard to if we
The only clue that takes you to the train, in my opinion, is the whistle. But I mean, a whistle doesn't
Matthew
necessarily.
Wood in the comments says, "Why would you ignore the rest of the clues that get you away from the 982 and the leg eater? Can't make that argument with the leg eater. Leg eater's at the end of the verse. It's just instructions on digging from that. After that, Alan Humans doesn't think 92 is the train. He thinks it's 11.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. Blewin. Okay. I'm sorry, I said Blewin. I will remember that.
How does 982 equal 11?
Don't ask these questions.
So if you oblige me though, George,
Yeah.
let's say that we get to the 982, which I think is friggin' hard.
Mhm.
Like it's incredible that people even found Herman Park. Like that Herman Melville quote is not that hard in 2026 with the internet. But in 1982, to put that together, that literary quote is an author who shares a name with a park in Houston. Even if you've found the latitude longitudes and you know it's Houston, like that's considerable work. That's phenomenal puzzle solving. So I agree it's hard to get there. But let's say that you have done it and you're standing at the 982. Like it says small of scale, step across. At that point, could you not realize, oh, this is a train puzzle. There's train tracks in there. Oh, there's a tiny train going around this very area right beside this lake. It says step across. Why would you not cross the train tracks at that point?
Don't know the answer to this question because I don't know what was in the park at the time. I don't know where the train tracks were. I don't know any of that.
I do. Yeah, I do. We have maps of it all. Some of the Houston guys have done unreal work on that.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying the 982 is right. I'm not trying to argue a point. I think I'm just continuing the conversation.
Yeah.
Rob, to answer your question earlier, 982 equals 11 because 982 And 9 plus 2 equals 11. He ate it.
Oh, that's like the 7, 8, 9.
But wouldn't if 9, 8, 2, wouldn't it subtract 2? Wouldn't it be 7?
Like, don't bring logic into this.
9,
I also-
8, 2. Okay.
I also just see like
Yeah.
if
Okay.
if the orb tower in the image is the from the map is the reflection pond, and then you've got a line that says what we take to be our strongest tower of delight, and there's an obelisk over there as well too, where you've crossed the mini tracks and you've crossed this area of the map. There's just a lot of compelling clues that steer you to that area of the park.
Okay.
I feel.
But then you get to a point where you have nowhere to dig.
Well, dig
But
spots
then,
are
but
time
then,
dependent.
then again, the verse does tell your perspective should not be lost, and John made
And
a
in
big
the
point
center
of
of 408.
being.
So if you go
So,
look at
Graydon, are you by the obelisk? Is where you think it is?
No, I think if you trace a line from the spout of the 982 through the old fountain, which the fountain has moved. The lake has been reshaped. The fountain has moved.
Yeah.
All that's changed. But if
Right,
you
right,
traced a line from the spout through the fountain across the lake, I think you would find yourself in a spot in the center of 408 where you could find a dig spot.
So
But
is that like the northeast part of the lake?
Northwest.
But let me ask
Oh,
you
northwest.
this:
Oh, okay.
why would the perspective and the painting need to be precise in order for that to happen?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question.
It sucks, man. It sucks. I really wish we had a time machine.
Oh yeah.
Because like I've got so much information about Houston and Herman Park in my head, and everybody has said different things, you know?
Yeah.
About layouts, track layouts, park layouts, people who work for the park. Like two different people who worked for the park at the exact same time will say completely different things.
Yeah.
Like how many people have said that
It's memory.
the lion fountains were mobile, but they're like, I've seen the lion fountains, they're not mobile, and like the pictures of them, they're set in concrete, they're not mobile. But who knows?
I would think if that was a clue with the fountain, that it wouldn't be no lion fears, but that you wouldn't fear a lion. Like you as the person wouldn't
Yeah.
fear.
That's
I
how
would-
I read it.
Because you're sticking your head in the lion's mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. That's how I read it.
I read it as like a wood that no lion fears. Like
Could be
woods.
too.
Right. Go through the woods, no lion fears you. So you have to be courageous to do this. endeavor.
No. I see it as like a safe woods. No lion fears these woods because it's safe. I don't
Do you think it's a Wizard of Oz reference? Cowardly lion going through the forest.
Courage.
I wish John
Courage.
asked why he had a hard time with this painting.
Huh?
Perspective.
I wish John would just tell us why he had a
That-
hard time.
That's
painting.
why he told.
Because
That's
of
what
the
he said.
perspective.
Because it
Didn't
had
he
to
say
be
that?
precise. Yeah, the perspective had to be precise.
Yeah, but what perspective? I wish he'd just tell us.
Oh. You wish he was like, but I had to line up the two columns with the
Okay.
light post.
Okay. So here's the theory. Let's say that you line up the spout with the spout, and on the other side on that line, you end up in a spot where in the center of 4 refers to my least favorite thing about The Secret, trees. Say there's 4 trees that you're going to go, well, what if you stood with those trees and the columns lined up perfectly with the trunks of those trees as you stared across the lake, and the fountain was going through the spout of the 982?
Would you represent
Well, I
that
think
on a
it-
Polaroid?
I think you're in. I
Take
think
the
you're in the
spot.
trees. You're definitely in the trees because
Byron
like,
would
if
take
you
a
look at
photo
the image,
across the lake from where he dug of the water spout shooting out through the 982.
but the point of view of the image is that we're under trees. They're
Yeah.
over our head.
Exactly. So that imagine the Polaroid. Imagine you were looking at
I mean, I can
across-
imagine the Polaroid. In Polaroid, you can't see anything that's like 15 feet away.
You're right. It's super wide angle too.
But if the Polaroid from the dig spot in that direction showed exactly where those tree trunks would be as you stood in the midst of them looking across the lake, then that perspective would need to be very important.
Maybe, yeah. I don't disagree.
And there's 7 columns giving us the month, but there's only 3 primary columns.
Yeah.
So are you you're standing on the northwest corner?
Yeah.
And the circle part is down by the zoo, correct? Or is it the other way around?
What do you mean the circle part?
The shape of the tower with the circle and the isn't that how the
Oh, that's
lake, the
that's what it
reflecting
looks
pool
like
is?
on a map. It looks like on a map.
Right.
You
So
see a map of Herman
overhead,
Park. It was there.
it's an overhead, right? So what I'm saying is where you think it is. If you're looking down on that overhead map, you have the column of the reflecting pool, and then you have the circular part of the lake, correct? At the south part. I'm not a big Houston.
Okay, I'm looking at a map now. Say that one more time for me. I'll send you a.
The circular part of the lake is on the south part, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think the circle of that tower is the lake. It's across the reflecting pool on the other side, like towards the Sam Houston Monument.
Right. So where are you saying your spot is?
Here, I'll send you an image. My spot is if you trace a line.
Oh, so the circle. I'm sorry. The circle is around the obelisk, and then the column comes down as the reflecting pool.
No, the obelisk is not the circle end of the tower. It's at the other end. It's right at the base of the reflecting pool.
Okay, I have found my 1982 Herman Park map that shows the train tracks where the 982 was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
did you send it on Messenger?
I just sent it on Messenger. Yeah.
All right, let me look at it.
You can even see on this map. You can see the mini train tracks on here. So if you trace a line from the spout of the 982 through the spout in Lake McGovern, it sends you across the lake to kind of a clearing.
So that's the spout on the western side of the lake?
Yes. And the 982 is that dark rectangle. If you trace the reflecting pond down through the lake, there's like a circular building, like at the entrance to the zoo. Mm-hmm. The 982 is at like 2 o'clock to that, just 20, 40 feet away there. That's the 982 you can see.
For some reason I can't. I gotta download it now. There we go.
This is actually this is the question where I first met George. The first time I ever reached out to George was in Facebook Messenger to ask him about the trees on the other side of the lake on that line. And he replied right away and put me in contact with people. I was like, oh, this guy's actually nice and helpful and accessible.
Try.
Yeah. That was
I see the train.
Years ago.
What? I feel like, to me, line fears in the sky, the water veers, small scale step across.
So does that train go around the circumference of the lake?
Not entirely. It goes around the northwest and northeastern parts.
I feel like you could do this verse, Graydon, in the way you're describing, but in reverse, and end up at the 982 train. Like if you just were to enter the park from a different direction than where you are entering, the clues, like if you were to enter the park from the north entrance by the Sam Houston statue, you could follow the verse, and you would end up at the 982 train.
Okay, walk me through it.
All right, well, let me pull up
That's
more
interesting.
tabs. Fortress North, cold as glass. Take your task to the number 982. So that we all know what those are more or less. Just ignore that. If you enter
Okay.
through the north, you would go past the reflecting pool, which is in the image. You would go through the woods that no lion fears.
Is that the northeast part of that lake?
Yes, it's dead north. If we're walking from the north going south, straight
But you
line
wouldn't have
from north to
encountered
south.
any lions yet.
Braden, you can barely hear you.
Sorry, I'm glitching again. You wouldn't have encountered any lions.
No,
at
but
that
you would have
point, though.
encountered the woods that no lion.
So you either have to walk. You have to walk southeast or southwest from that point, George, to go around the lake.
The park that I'm looking at is oriented where Sam Houston's statue is dead north.
Yes.
And then the circle is dead north.
Yes.
Yeah.
The circle is south of Sam Houston, but north of the reflecting pond.
Right. So where are you starting from? The Sam Houston?
Hang on, let me see if I can give you my.
Here, Rob, I'll walk you through how I interpret it while George is getting that organized. So
He's got it.
if I read
So yours is oriented that way. I see. Yeah. So we're looking south.
This
Yeah.
way.
We're looking up is south.
Yeah.
West or southeast.
So here's how I read it, Rob. Fortress North, cold as glass. You're north of the park, the Glass Owls School of Art. Friendship South refers to the motto of Texas. Take your task to the number 982. Go by the lion water fountain or avoid the zoo, however you want to interpret no lion fears. In the sky, the water fears is the fountain in the lake. Small of scale, you come across the children's train tracks. You step across them.
So just stop for a second. Hold on, back up.
Yeah.
Where are you entering the park?
Look at the map through number 1. Number 1 or number 3.
On Graydon, on your picture, on your image that you sent, you're walking from where?
Well, I'm not a path person, so I don't have an exact spot because I don't think that these necessarily have to have an exact.
All right, so you're just walking past. You're walking past the 982, and then you're walking past the spout.
I think the first part of this verse is orienting you to the park, and then your first kind of goal is to find the 982.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you want to come in from the north or whether you want to take the road around and enter from the east side.
Yep.
And then you've stepped across the train tracks. Perspective should not be lost is a line telling you to create the perspective of the spout lining up with the train. And potentially that when you find the trees or whatever the objects that are four alike are, that you can look back from the treasure ground and see the spout. The whistle sounds is an instruction to you to make sure that spout is not just a water spout, but it refers to a train spout also.
So the 982.
Wait. Doesn't the Japanese clue say that the spout is the same as the water veers?
Yes.
So if the water veers is in the middle of the lake, and
it's not. Well, it's on the west side of the lake.
Okay, well, if it's in the lake, looking back at it, you would have to be on the 982 side of the lake in order to look back. Otherwise, you'd be looking forward.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying earlier. You're looking back at the treasure ground.
You're looking back from treasure ground.
Yeah. So
when you're standing where the cask is, when you look back to where you came from.
No.
You see the spout.
Yeah, so you have to pass. So if you look at my map that I shared, you would have to go from 1, 3, 6, then to 9 almost, and you look back to 6 to see the spout in that direction. But you would have to be in between the fishing lake and the 982. You not in the zoo, but you would have to be, because the 982 train is outside of the zoo. You would have to be in between the 982 and the fishing lake to look back at the spout.
No, you're on the other side of the spout.
Oh, you were like at 9 o'clock, Graydon? 10 o'clock?
In relation to where's 12 o'clock?
12 o'clock's up where the
Let's say you're just
reflecting pool.
below.
12 o'clock is on the photograph that you sent. 12 o'clock.
All right,
is the,
let's do one thing. Let's coordinate photos. Which photo are we going with? The one Graydon or the one that's on stream?
let's do the one Graydon is.
Okay.
Period.
All right, let me pull it up.
I could share mine too.
Yeah, do that because I don't have Messenger pulled up, so I can't
Okay,
see
hold on
it.
1 second.
That would be way easier.
Okay.
Okay. So and I can see the hand you're moving there, Rob. So go ahead.
So here's the train. Here's the spout.
Well, no. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's just a little
Train.
lag there. Good. Yep.
Spout.
Yes.
So you're saying you're over here
Yes.
looking across at the train?
Looking back from the treasure ground. So if where your hand is now is the treasure ground, if you
Right.
look back from the treasure ground, you see the spout, and across the lake you see the train.
No, that's looking forward from the treasure ground. That's
But it's looking
You're looking
from
back to where
from-
you were. You're at the treasure ground and you're looking back to where you came from.
right.
okay. We've changed conversation. Okay, never mind.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Looking back from treasure ground, there's the spout.
There's the spout.
A whistle sounds.
Yep.
yeah.
And when does a whistle sound? It sounds when you pull the flute on the train and the steam shoots out, which is the gin, which is the fountain, which is the train spout. They're all supporting each other.
Yeah, I don't. You're entering the park from the zoo side. You're coming directly to the 982. You're walking past the spout and the fishing lake, across the train tracks, finding for trees, and then looking back. Right? Is essentially what you're doing. Right?
You are orienting yourself like you've somehow figured out magically that this is Houston and then it's Herman Park, and then you've found the Glocell School at the north end of the park.
But the reflecting pool doesn't matter at all. Like none of the stuff matters. Whereas if you just come in from the other direction, if you come in from where the Sam Houston statue is, all of this makes sense, and you follow a linear path, and you end up where the verse tells you to take your test. That's just an outcrop.
Okay, so
Well,
if you were here looking this way, you've got the gin in front of you to your right, and you've got the treasure ground back here, and you've got those columns which represent the camel and the rhinoceros or whatever in the zoo straight ahead of you.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to see those.
No.
Well, I'm just saying that perspective is you're seeing the spout here, you're seeing across the lake, you've got the zoo, and the train would be there.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% convinced that spot is where the cask is. I'm saying, like, if I could go back to 1982 and visit the spot, that's where I would go first. I would follow all those things and go and see if there is a center of four alike there that made sense with perspective. But like the reflecting pond, like on the map that you have showed, George, that shape makes a lot of sense because it's a shape that if you had a map, if you figured out it was Herman Park and then you found a Herman Park map, you'd be like, oh, this area of the park looks exactly like the shape of this tower that's in the image.
No, yeah, I agree. And it's not like it would be difficult to find a map at Herman Park.
No.
When you
So
say
then I'm just
fishing
trying to
pond, that's
follow
this
the
whole thing, George?
Huh?
You say fishing pond, that's what this is?
Yes. That's what they call it in the 1982 map. It's Fishing Lake.
Okay.
It's called Lake McGovern.
And the train goes here
You kind
Yes.
and goes around there, probably.
Yeah. More,
You
more,
can
more
see
or less.
area. You can
This
see
seems
the
like
tracks
this seems like this would be the woods.
could be.
What else would the lion mean besides that fountain? Could it be in any relation to something in the zodiac?
Well, there is a zoo right on the edge of the park. So you could say no lion fears. You could argue that that's telling you to avoid the zoo. You could say that it's the fountain. You could say that it's to go through the woods and it's a Wizard of Oz reference. There's lots of different ways you could argue it. I don't know.
Right.
I can't definitively explain the ones we found already, so I'm not going to claim that I have everything explained in this one.
I mean, it could
Those
just
are
be, it could be like you were saying earlier about something else. The lion fountain, him just saying lion is a way of illustrating woods, and we're associating it because of the fountains, and the fountain could just be a coincidence. Or
Yeah.
the park, the guy who worked at the park could be correct, and those things were mobile, and there was just a lion fountain somewhere down there. You know?
Yeah. All possibilities, things that we probably won't know.
No.
But it explains all the elements. It explains that the pieces, it explains smaller scale, it explains perspective, it explains the tower. I don't know. I think it has enough elements to it to be a compelling theory.
I think realistically, your idea is awesome, and you're right. But it could also work. It's weird in the same way. Cleveland, right? You could just take Cleveland's verse and reverse it, and it still works. I think this works whether you come in from the north or whether you come in from the south. The verse just kind of works because you're doing the same things in the same places. You just end up at two different spots on either side of that lake.
Yeah.
Don't you think the image? Don't you think the image should play into that? What we're looking at, that whole perspective thing, and looking north
I do.
Is actually opposite of what the image is showing us. If we're point of view looking at the North Star, we're facing north, and in that perspective, what Graydon is talking about is looking south.
Yep. But
so I don't know if that North Star means anything in that sense.
I think John said it's meant Lone Star State, 1 star, Lone Star.
That makes sense because there's a potential North Star in Boston too. And if you're looking out the porthole that doesn't exist of Ironsides, you're facing south, not north.
Yeah, how we got.
So, do you both think the obelisk in this is the reflection pool? Because it doesn't look the same.
The what is, sorry?
The obelisk is the reflection pool.
The actual obelisk in
in the painting.
I would say so, definitely.
Because it's different from the reflection pool. Like the reflection pool is symmetrical. The circle is the same size as the columns.
That's just like an overall shape of the main feature of the park.
All right.
The obelisk you're talking about, what has the ball on top?
Yeah. I still think it's a more perfect match to the light. I think it's a more perfect match to the light posts that were in the park, but those are everywhere, so.
I think it's a reference to the Herman Park map that shows a circular area at the top of the reflecting pool.
I would agree. Okay. But do you see what I'm saying? How the North Star, we're facing north. And I don't know that you can get that perspective with the zoo in the distance.
But right?
If that's
But
if that's what those columns are representing.
But in Graydon's defense, we're assigning a meaning to a clue that we already know the meaning of. Like John said, it's 1 star. It's Lone Star State. We don't know that it necessarily means north.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying as a possibility. You can look at it that way, and then you can maybe extrapolate that there is a different perspective that we can look at this from.
Try to find.
I'm trying to orient myself in that way to see how that would be facing north, looking. So you would have to be inside. You'd have to be inside the zoo. Was there a train inside the zoo?
There's accounts of a children's train that went around on wheels in the zoo.
Inside the zoo.
Yeah, it was kind of like you didn't have to follow a specific path. You could just pull kids around the children's zoo on that train.
So this gin doesn't necessarily have to be the spout of water. It could be the smoke from the train. And you could be inside the zoo, near the train track inside the zoo, and you're seeing the rhinoceros and the camel. Those are maybe the entryway.
There's no train track in the zoo.
Oh.
There's only train tracks outside of the zoo.
Outside, okay.
We have 3 trains in this park. We have 982, which is an actual steam engine. We have a small rail train that went around the lake. Mm-hmm. And then we have an even tinier small kids train that went around on wheels. It wasn't on a track. It could go down the side. Yes.
Hmm.
But yeah, I tend to read John's elements as being more symbolic. So Lone Star, that makes sense to me. In Boston, that could be the North Star because it could be Old North. It could be a hint to Old North Church or the north end of Boston, as opposed to being we actually need to be facing directly north when we look at this.
Well, I think that's in the clue. It says face the water. So, right?
Yeah, but if that hole in the image is the porthole that doesn't exist of Ironsides, if you were looking out the porthole of Ironsides, if it had one, you would be facing south.
Yeah, you'd be facing south. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said earlier, I feel like I'm tuning more into the imagery of symbolism that's being shown. So I always have to kind of put it in that perspective for myself to kind of gauge things. And then it's either, the verse, communicates that in the same way or confirms things. I'm just more image driven, I guess.
Be right back. I'm sorry, we've been going like 2.5 hours. I just gotta use the restroom.
Yeah. No, that's okay. We don't need to. I love it too, but whatever you guys want to do.
No, I'm good. I don't mind talking. Like I love talking.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to hang out, we'll hang out. I just gotta go for a second.
Sure.
What do you guys want to do? Do you want to hang out?
I'm good if you guys want to.
Sure.
I got to get up at 5. So
Oof.
what time is it? Actually, it's not too bad. I got a nap in this afternoon, which I usually don't do.
So
Go ahead.
We had daylight savings last night, so I got an hour short of sleep. So that's messing with me too. Do you guys do that?
Probably. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Spring ahead.
Yeah.
So we lost an hour.
Yeah.
We this whole weekend's been kind of weird for me too, because I felt like on Friday felt like it was on Saturday. Saturday felt like Sunday. So it's all wacky.
Better that way than the other way around. At least you get more weekend out of it.
I'm not that in on the Houston solve. I mean, I've heard lots of different theories and stuff, but I personally haven't spent a lot of time doing my own research on it. So it's hard to I don't have an opinion in that sense that I'm really feel strongly about one or the other.
I'm not married to anything in this hunt. I just work it all out of interest and try to go with kind of objective, but also a gut feeling on from what I do know about it, what seems to make sense, what seems to be plausible.
So in terms of a theme, if it's a train theme, does it have any theme in terms of the city and its history, or is it just location?
I think it's just location. Yeah, theme for the city. I mean, there's Space City as an option.
And why would Houston be chosen as a location?
Do you want my personal subjective opinion, or do you want?
Was there a book tour there, or I mean,
That would be the first place. That would be the first reason I would look. Is there a financial and practical reason for Byron trying to cover his bases around the country where there is a large market of people, or a reason for him to go there? Book-wise, yeah.
Was there a big book market in Houston, George?
Bookmark? I assume so.
Like the convention, or
I don't know about
anything. We're just saying, like, why Houston was chosen as a city as opposed to St. Louis or the other
Austin,
50 other,
San Antonio,
Dallas.
I don't know. It's not like there's a Persian connection.
So the reason I asked that was because, if you think there's a theme, what is the theme? Is the theme trains, or is it trains a theme because it's location? But if there's a theme because of history or immigration or something like that, is that present in this particular pairing or verse? Are we getting anything? I mean, space, yeah, you can look up at the moon on that, are we looking at the moon surface and the moon landing for Houston?
Yeah.
And there's the astronaut's footprint in the tree.
Could be,
yeah. So is that a theme of why Houston is famous, or why it's important to our history, or technologically, were there things important to our American history that
Jeff in the comments
would make him say, why I'm going to choose Houston over Dallas?
Jeff in the comments said, due to the oil industry, there's a large population of Persians. Little Persia is directly south of Permit Park, which is correct.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's his rationale for picking a city was an immigration?
I don't think
so.
I don't think Byron.
No, I don't either.
I don't think Byron had any rationale for picking cities beyond St. Augustine and Roanoke. The rest, I think, were all related to him trying to sell the book.
St. Augustine's a really tough city to get to as far as travel for him to do that,
Yeah.
So think about that as a choice for him to go, I got to go to.
So is
Florida.
Roanoke. I mean, if you're flying in,
Yeah,
you can at least
especially
fly
Roanoke.
into Jacksonville. But Roanoke, the closest airport's like 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that decision, that to me says that there's
Major airport.
No, but to me that says there's history in the choice to say I'm going to choose St. Augustine, I'm going to choose Roanoke, I'm going
Absolutely.
to choose Houston.
It's an immigration theme. So you pick
It's not book market in that.
No, but you start with the first colony in the first city, and then you throw in New York and San Francisco being the main gateways, and then you say, okay, how can I be practical from here? I need somewhere in the south. I need places in
I got to
north.
go see
I'm going to sprinkle around the
Sean
country.
Kelly up in Montreal.
At some
Oh,
point,
yeah.
at some point,
JJP.
Byron's going to be like John, who's like, I'm running out of time. I got to pick a place.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I got to go to Houston. That was a better one there.
Why he didn't do Philadelphia, for example?
But I mean, it could have just been convenience. Like when he told Ben was like, I'm going to Florida. We'll take a doll and take a picture. I'm going to Washington, D.C. Take a doll and take a picture. He could have been like, I'm already going to Houston. So.
Yeah. So I'm a believer that there's themes, historical themes.
You
that
think
are
he
present
picked
for sure.
all 12 cities very methodically according to themes?
I think it started out, like you said.
I think it started that way.
Very
Yeah, I think it
intentional
started
ones.
And then I think he practically winged it from there as a businessman.
I mean,
I
it definitely
could-
seems like a lot was winged.
Yeah,
You know,
I could see. I could see.
not off the bat, probably not intentionally, just because of time constraints and getting
Well, you
close
start
to
with an
deadlines.
idea, right? You start with an idea and you build from there. And then you're thinking about your next, and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to Boston anyway. Well, that could work. What's in Boston? Okay, well, maybe let's go with this, right? It's partially improvised.
Still don't understand why Boston wasn't Irish. They're the Fighting Irish, for God's sakes.
Because he probably had
He already
Chicago.
had Chicago.
Yeah.
But like,
Chicago definitely would have been a better Irish city.
New York would have been a better Italian city.
I think he had some options with New York for sure.
I mean, you could have picked anything with New York, but I feel like in the 80s.
No, he dedicated the book
To the
Byron's
Russians.
from New York.
Like he could have done Baltimore, for example, for Jewish, if he wanted to, do that, or
Well, maybe that was in book
massive.
2. Maybe it's in the back of his mind as the second book.
Yeah. But I think evidence does kind of lead to he had a really good plan in mind.
He could have done Miami.
Milwaukee, like there's no way that was a priority. Montreal became a priority as he was convinced, well, maybe I'll go to the Canadian market. Oh, Sean, I'll talk to him about that and see where I could go.
Well, I don't know. Milwaukee, like Canada was focused pretty heavily in the front of the book, in the passage and litany and all of that. So it's hard for me to see him not thinking Canada, at least in part, in the beginning.
Yeah, so
unless that portion of the book was
manuscript
written later.
The manuscript was written after the idea of where the cities were.
Is that in the manuscript? Can't remember.
Almost, you have to have a groundwork of where the story is going to go. So, I mean, you'd think you'd have to have that all worked out, because it does follow kind of, it's all about the patterns of actual a timeline of how immigration happened in all of those discoveries, Columbus and Verrazano and Ponce de Leon.
Question in the comments was, did he do Milwaukee at the same time as Chicago? It would almost be dumb to not do them together.
Yeah.
Because it's like an hour bus ride from one to the other.
But why Milwaukee? Ugh. There's no good reason to do Milwaukee.
And there's so many other cities. Like he could have done Grand Rapids. He could have done a lot of places.
For German immigration, that. Is there any other strong German cities?
But who says he had to do German?
Sarasota, a strong German city?
He probably
German.
picked Milwaukee before he picked German. Like the German probably came after he picked the city. I don't think he picked the immigration groups first. I think he started with an idea and riffed on it from there, and things kind of fell into place as he figured it out. And that's also why we see changes in the manuscript.
Yeah.
He picked a methodology that allowed him to be somewhat flexible.
And Andy in the comments said he couldn't pass up on a great Rebus. It's a good Rebus.
He quite literally could have been.
He could have been looking through the encyclopedia puzzles and went, I got to do Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was surprised when he heard of that. He didn't.
Yeah, but it's been 40 years. I don't trust that man on where his ideas came from 40 years ago.
Yeah. Agreed.
I trust him slowly remembering things he put in the painting. I don't trust him to remember where his inspiration came from. There's almost no way he didn't see that and take it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he had to have written out a through line with discovery and what cities were going to be included and what those immigration points were going to be. And then I don't think that was kind of random. But I think the manuscript and the passage and all of that had to have been written after. I mean, there's obviously clues for us to get from reading all of that. So that has to be intentionally done after that framework was built.
Or modified after.
Yeah. There's no
It's hard to modify. Like
it's hard to know.
Pages of text.
It's hard to know though, because I mean, like, not everything Joe Ellen has is dated. I don't think that portion of the manuscript is. She got a bunch of different packets of stuff all along, so it's hard to know if it was written before or after.
So who wrote the passage in all the beginning?
Byron.
He wrote that specifically. So Ted and Sean just did the back of the
They
book.
just did the back of the book.
That's a lot of writing to do.
Yeah.
Sure, he did it all on his own. Was anybody-
I'm not 100% sure, but that's just what I've always been told. John has never mentioned Sean and Ted writing anything from the front of the book. No one has.
And he hasn't credited. He would have credited someone if he had a writer help with that, probably.
Well, he didn't credit himself as a writer either. He's the editor.
Right.
So
it just says authors Sean Kelly and Ted Mann.
but that doesn't follow.
So maybe oh, that's a lot of writing.
Yeah, it doesn't follow Sean and Ted's style, though, does it? I mean, it's very the style of the front of the book is very different from the style of the back of the book. Just the writing.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Kind of.
They're both dead now. We can't ask. So that sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, all three.
Did John say they were at the meeting when they had their big meeting of the minds with all the people involved?
Yeah, he said they were funny, but they didn't add anything to the conversation.
But why invite them to that meeting?
I don't know.
If you just took their pre-existing work and adapted it to package in your book, why?
I don't know.
Unless
I mean,
it was just-
Was he working on anything else at the time of this?
Byron or John?
Byron.
I don't know that.
probably.
I mean, I assume he would have other projects.
Yeah.
This wasn't his first. So
No, it definitely wasn't his first.
So he had to have had somebody help him. That's just awful. Think about that.
I don't know.
And then you write it, version, and then you edit, and you have to have all of the, like I said, the architecture of who's traveling when and where, and all of those clues that are given to us in the passage.
I mean, there's a few.
But then the vanishing seems like it's almost a whole other person writing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, Byron had an army of authors.
Yeah.
No one has ever deviated from Sean and Ted wrote the back and that was it. Or it seems to be. No one's ever even implied that they had anything to do with anything other than the back of the book, including Sean and Ted, who said we didn't care anything at all about the treasure hunt. But I don't know.
Well,
You're right. It is a lot to write.
If they wrote
But
the vanishing,
it's in different styles, though. If you look at each one, they're totally different styles.
But they could have written those parts of the front of the book and still felt like they had nothing to do with the treasure hunt. Byron could have just written the poems, and
the front of the book's got way too much to do with the cities. St. Augustine, Montreal, Boston, New York. It's just, the cities are peppered throughout the whole. And then going down to specific locations like Fountain of Youth. I don't know what Graydon's ringtone was, but it was cool.
Max Headroom.
I think he froze.
um,
Uh-oh.
You're running into technical errors.
He must have liked Laverne and Shirley for Milwaukee. I would agree with that.
You're going back to the 80s. Like, if you can think back to when you were a kid, Rob, where were the places in America that were talked about the most? Like, I can't imagine him not putting one in Detroit. Like, Detroit
Disney
in the
World,
80s was huge.
Orlando
was huge. But, I mean, if you got to choose Florida and you're doing immigration, you're going to choose St. Augustine. But like if you're up and you've got a choice somewhere near Milwaukee, like I can't see him not choosing Detroit.
Well,
I
like
can't see him
said,
not choosing St. Louis.
I think the voyages of Columbus and Ponce de Leon and Verrazano absolutely determined where these cities were. You know, think of Verrazano's touched Cape Fear in that area down there, then up to Roanoke, and then up like off the Jersey coast and into the New York Harbor, and then around the New York and into the area up around Boston.
Graydon says he's going to refresh again, but I think that's like Mark Twain. It's because he was an explorer. He went places. He touched a lot. Mark Twain was the same way. You could find some Mark Twain shit in every city because Mark Twain traveled, and he went places, and he was an important person. You can find George Washington all up and down the East Coast.
Yeah, but the story is about the fair folk taking a voyage from the old world to the new world and dropping off at these places. So it makes sense that those voyages from these explorers, they were part of that. I think my battery's dying.
An email. It was a while ago. I wanted to talk about Montreal, and I didn't see it. Otherwise, I would have invited them on. They're in Montreal.
Oh, nice.
Dang.
Yeah. Their name is Josiane.
Oh yeah.
But it's not the Berard.
Oh, it's a different.
Yeah. Unless it's the same one and she just has a different last name on her email. I wish, especially if it was the same one. She's a lot of fun.
Bedard,
that
right?
is her.
Josiane Bedard.
Yeah, it is. She said she's in the comments. She said it is me.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're winding down or if we want to bring in another guest for a couple hours.
Oh, you guys can continue on.
No, I gotta go and eat, but let's do that again because I'd love to have her on. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know where she's at in Montreal in regards to her search. I don't know what verse she uses. I don't know any of that stuff. So either way, it'd be fun. All right.
Do we have to reschedule Ken?
Yeah, we got to reschedule Ken. So maybe we can have her back on when Ken comes on.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right. Cool.
All right, I gotta go.
All right.
Yeah.
I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for hanging out, everyone, for 3 hours.
Yeah, was it 3 hours?
It was 3 hours.